Aggies, it's 63 yards to a coronation. Introduced for the last time at Royal Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. This will be the largest crowd to watch the Longhorns in a home game. Ricky and the seniors were introduced. Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. With Dan Fouts and Jack Arute, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us. Well, we're going to see a record here, my friend. Even the Texas A&M coaches and players agree with that. But the wrecking crew will not make it easy for Ricky.
No, and anybody knows the A&M Texas rivalry knows they won't concede anything to Texas. They won't concede the record. But the primary focus of the wrecking crew today is to beat Texas. That's the most important thing. They've got a great foreman in this crew. Number 9, Dat Wim. He is approaching a great record of his own. 12 tackles for 500 on the year, and he leads a swarming defense that is number 2 in the nation. Now, they've only allowed 9 rushing touchdowns all season long, so something is going to give today here in Austin.
The scene is set, and you know what a turnaround season it has been for the Longhorns as the eyes of Texas comes to a conclusion, and the Horns, who are unbeaten here in Austin, will pour out onto the field to a rousing ovation. So coming up, it's the Aggies of Texas A&M, the Longhorns of Texas. The battle for bragging rights is about to begin. R.C. Slocum, the coach of Texas A&M, is with Jack Arute. Jack?
Well, Coach, how difficult is it to get a team up for a rivalry knowing you've got a championship game 8 days from now?
When it's this rivalry, it's no problem.
Now, what did you tell the players before they came out?
I told the players they've worked all year to be in a game like this. Go out and enjoy every minute of it. Play your hearts out.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Brent?
All right, Jack, thank you very much. You better believe that this referee will be paying attention to whether they say heads or tails, my friends.
To the second half.
"63 yards from the record book. Tony Dorsett, the record holder, is here along with Earl Campbell. And you can see just how tough the wrecking crew has been this season. With dreadlocks, the style of the season. In fact, the last couple of seasons here in Austin, Ricky and the Texas offense will handle the ball first, with the Aggies deferring, meaning they will get the ball to start the second half. As you view the scene, with R.C. Slocum and the Aggies on the far side of the field here. Remarkable job.
And I think that R.C. and the Aggies would like to see Ricky Williams get that record early in the game so they can get back to focusing at what is most important in this ball game, and that's beating Texas and getting out of the game healthy enough to go into St. Louis next week in the Big 12 championship game against K-State.
Shane Leckler, the punter, puts the ball on the tee. The Aggie fans, of course, know how strong his leg is, so he handles the kickoff duties. Ryan Nunez and Jeremy Jones are back, and we are underway. And it'll be downed in the end zone. So our Chili's starting lineup, 63 yards away, with Major Applewhite calling the plays. But do not overlook the passing game. This could be the key today. McGarity and Cavill, both fine wide receivers for the Longhorns. They can loosen things up. Jay Humphrey, the tackle from Richardson, Texas, has blocked for 3 seasons for Ricky Williams, and here he is. Will he get the first call of the day? Will it be the counter? Will it be a toss? Or will the Horns elect to loosen them up as we get set to go? Here's Rookie's first carry, stretches the D, battles for a yard loss. Thrown for a yard loss with Brandon Jennings, the free safety and a member of this fine Wrecking Crew defense. The noseman, Ron Edwards, was applying pressure in the center of the defensive line. And in behind the talented linebackers, led by Dat Nguyen, the Vietnamese refugee, and Rich Cody, the walk-on safety, number 48. So now it is second down and 11 for the Horns. And here's Ricky again. This time he battles back for 5 yards. So Major Applewhite, the Texas quarterback. What do the Horns plan to do early in the game? And here's what he had to say.
Well, obviously we like to get our running game established with Ricky. But as an offense, we need to understand that they're a very good defense and that they're going to make great plays. But that we need to, just keep going at it and try to set a tempo and get a tempo and protect the ball. A&M has, plus 12 in the turnover margin, so we need to, control the ball and take care of the ball.
Down to 59. Applewhite's first pass of the game to Nunez is complete. Needed to reach the 30-yard line, out of bounds, short of that. So the punting team comes onto the field for the Horns.
And Brent, the pass by Applewhite to Nunez was behind him, forced Nunez to turn around to make the catch. If he would have caught it clean, he might have been able to pick up the first down. Applewhite just off target with his first throw of the day.
Ryan Long, the punter, and Chris Taylor, number 42, awaits it for the Aggies. Took a Texas bounce before Taylor can get his hands on it, but he will be smothered at the 25-yard line. Greg Brown, member of the defensive backfield, number 24, downfield on the coverage, -5 on the return. Timeout in Austin. A turnaround coach at Tulane, North Carolina, now in his first year at Texas, Mack Brown. Looking out at the Aggies, his arch rival. They'll battle for recruits, and they'll battle for W's. Two tight ends for R.C. Slocum. Dante Hall is stopped in the backfield, and it has been that defense with Sean Rogers making the stop. And let's check our Chili's lineup for the Aggies today. Jamar Toombs, folks, 263 pounds, a freshman fullback. Here's the two tight ends they open with, Danny Campbell and Derek Spiller, both good ones, behind this offensive line. And if they need a third one, Sibisi Haimule would be the man who would lead the way. So after the penetration, second down and 12 coming up here for the Aggies. Big toss. McCown goes down in a heap as Woodard, the defensive tackle, makes the penetration and forces Randy McCown to the turf.
And that's what they want to do all day long to this A&M offense, is to crowd the line of scrimmage and to dare A&M to beat them with the pass. This play here is going to be a play action and a quick slant. But you see, as Woodard gets in the way of the throwing lane, that forces McCown to pull the ball down, and then he slips.
The Horns push them into a 3rd and 18. From the shotgun. In trouble again. Woodard up over the top. And it's burnt orange all over.
We talked about the wrecking crew, but the Texas defense comes out and has a marvelous first series. 3 plays and out for a -15 yards.
One of the finest punters in the game will attempt to bail A&M out. Leckler standing in the Aggie end zone. Puts it right at the goal line. Hodges Mitchell back deep. Has it at the 47-yard line. Slips to the left and crosses midfield. So Major Applewhite and the Horns wind up with excellent field position. They can now play with half a field. And Ricky Williams needs 59 yards to become the new king. Slocum will attempt to calm his offense down after that opening surge by the Horns, who had great penetration from the defensive line. Major Applewhite. Brown is in front of Ricky. He'll offset, and now they'll split the backs. On first down, Applewhite fires low and incomplete. Well, Dan Fouts had an opportunity to ask Ricky what's the most significant thing to him about breaking the all-time record.
That no one thought I could do it. You know, when the season started, and I kept saying that, you know, I have a shot to break the record, people just kind of, you know, never gave it a second thought.
Second down and 10. Ricky from San Diego, California, with his family watching. Carried. The countdown continues as he pounds, but quickly the Aggies jump to it and give him only a couple of yards as Rich Cody slams in, and now the magic mark is 57.
Rich Cody coming up from his strong safety spot. He is, it's rare for one player to be inspired by a teammate, but Dat Wynn, close friend of Rich Cody, says, I have had success because I have patterned myself in my play after my teammate, Dat Wynn. Tackles like him too.
Passing down for Applewhite and the Horns. Slot formation with Nunez off to the right. McGarity to the short side of the field for wide man. 4 wideouts, high snap, in trouble. Applewhite steps out of it in the face of pressure, goes deep, intercepted, and out of bounds. At the 15-yard line, Brandon Jennings, the free safety, but it was the pressure of the defensive front that forced the bad pass following the bad snap.
And it's a corner blitz by number 26 from the right side of the screen. First, it's the high snap. Nice catch by Major. But watch Brooks come in there. That forces him out of the pocket. And this forces the redshirt freshman into a redshirt freshman type of mistake. Could have very easily just thrown this ball away. Big turnover there for Brandon Jennings.
Sir Parker checks in as the tailback, and they put him in motion. They love to throw to him. He's the fastest man on the Aggie team. They're going to throw it to him on first down. He runs to daylight. Out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Now let's go back and check in on the Texas defensive lineup. Cedric Woodward off to a tremendous start here today. And another man we'll see a lot of is Dusty Renfro. Leads the Horns in tackles. And in that secondary, which is going to be challenged, Quentin Jammer. Not a great name for a free safety, number 6. So the Aggies come up with the game's first turnover on the interception. With Renfro, a senior linebacker, ready here on second down and short. Dante Hall stays back in. Runs behind Toombs, and he is stopped, I believe, short of the first down. Yes, he's short of the first down. Casey Hampton making the stop for the Horns.
Steve Craigthorpe is the offensive coordinator for the Aggies. And this offense is not a great offense. In fact, it's ranked 90th in the country. So it's very important for them to make a couple of big plays today. But as you can see, their idea of a big play is not that big.
Need a yard here on third down. Play fake, McCown's going to throw, but he's in trouble. Woodward didn't buy the fake. Throw to the middle, incomplete. The gamble does not pay off for the Aggies. They come up throwing on 3rd and 1 from their own 24-yard line. Joe Walker doesn't bite.
Again, it's good pressure by the defensive lineman there. Cedric Woodward, number 50, doesn't buy this fake. He's right in McCown's face for the second time in a row. Might have pulled on the face mask just a little bit there. And this might have been called pass interference as Walker hits the receiver just before the ball gets there.
Leckler to punt it again, standing on the Aggies 10. He'll hit it up around the 15. Here's Mitchell again, runs up at the 32, got an alley on the right side, and he's forced out of bounds at the 42-yard line. An 11-yard return off a 44-yard punt. No score in Austin. Timeout. The Horns trying to hook the Aggies. And Ricky Williams trying to hook Tony Dorsett's record. 57 yards to go. Third series of the game. He's averaging only 2 yards a carry, but he will carry it some 30 times if need be. First down and 10. Ricky spins for perhaps a yard, but certainly no more. As ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Direct Computer Solutions for business at home and around the world. Be Direct Dell. And the Pontiac Sunfire. Hot set of wheels, money left to burn. Second down and 9. Slot off to the left for Applewhite. He'll throw to the short side of Nunez. And Nunez busts for the first down to the 45-yard line. A gain of 11 yards.
Nunez brought down by number 39, Jason Webster.
Great field position for Texas, and this is a fine job of the center, Russell Gaskamp, coming out and throwing the key block for Nunez to pick up the first down. Major's a cool customer for just a redshirt freshman, but a great game he had against Nebraska in Lincoln.
So that is the first down for the Horns against the Wrecking Crew defense. 5 men along that defensive front, all looking in at number 34, and he doesn't disappoint. He's got room to the outside. 40, 35, and smashed out of bounds at the 31-yard line by Brandon Jennings. That's 14 more yards for Ricky Williams, and now Ricky Williams is down to 42 yards.
Following Ricky Brown, number 44, and then getting to the outside with his great speed. What a combination of speed and power. At the end of the run, he lets the Aggies know he's going to go for every inch.
5 carries for 21 here today, and a first down for the Horns at the 31-yard line. As the Aggies defense gave up the outside on the right defensively that time, and Ricky spotted it. They'll run the toss back at him. Ricky picks his way for perhaps a yard. Let's go down to Jack Arute with Tony Dorsett right now. Jack.
And a very interested Tony Dorsett it is. Tony, your feelings watching your record be about to go under the boards?
Well, you know, I'm here for one reason. That's to show my support for Ricky Williams. You know, I'm really proud of Ricky, the season he's had, the career he's had here at UT. So it doesn't matter. You know, I held that thing for 22 years. So, you know, eventually something like this will take place. And what a better guy for it to happen with. Ricky's a real class act both on and off the field.
Well, we know you want to get back to watch this play. Brent?
He needs only 40 yards now. Here he comes again, steps into the hole, breaks. First down inside the 20-yard line for Ricky Williams. It's down to 31.
Watch him follow his fullback, Ricky Brown, who goes about 225 pounds. And then that offensive line, 4 seniors up there, and they not only want Ricky to break this record, Jay Humphrey says he wants him to shatter the record. Put it so far out of sight, nobody will ever come close.
He can also win the NCAA scoring race with a pair of touchdowns today. Here comes Ricky, pounds to the middle, and the number continues to fall as he battles his way to the 12-yard line.
And it's obvious that Texas did a lot of studying of the Missouri-Texas A&M game of 2 weeks ago, because this is where Missouri hit A&M with Devin West gaining 113 yards on the ground, right between the tackles.
8 carries for 40 yards, so he is now 23 yards away. Second down and 3. The toss. Ricky behind Brown. It's jammed up. Can he get back to the line of scrimmage? I'm not sure that he didn't give back a yard. We'll wait and see where they spot the ball that time. Well, you saw Tony Dorsett. This was the play that Tony Dorsett set the record for Pittsburgh. It came against the United States Naval Academy back in 1976 as Dorsett rips free and scores a touchdown on the play. And Archie Griffin's record fell that day. Now, third down and 4 for Ricky Williams and the Texas Longhorns on the move. Applewhite to throw it. Gets plenty of time. Takes off. Receivers covered. slides, but he might have been just short of that first down by about a yard. He saw defensive pressure coming big time in the form of Cornelius Anthony, the 230-pound sophomore, and the Major went down in a heap.
Both quarterbacks have slipped today. We've seen McCown go down twice, and now Applewhite, who was real close to picking up a first down, slips down. But I've got a feeling, I just got a small feeling, that number 34 may get this carry on fourth down.
Needing only a yard, Dan. Brown is offset to the right. He has gone mainly to the left. This time picks his way to the right. First down for the Longhorns. And Ricky Williams now back to 23 again. He had given back 2 yards on that previous carry.
Now, you're not going to stop him at just 1 yard, 225, 30 pounds, but a lot of power. And in talking to him the other day, Brent, I asked him what type of run would he like to break the record on. He said, well, I know that it's going to be played on a lot of highlight shows, so I want to make it spectacular. It would be nice if he could break Dorsett's record the way Dorsett broke Archie Griffin's record with a touchdown.
Cannot break it here. Still needs 23. They've got a first and goal at the 10-yard line. Here's the toss. Brown, the lead blocker. And Ricky picks his way for about 3 more yards before he is out of bounds on that play. It'll be second down and goal for the Longhorns. Lost amidst all of this talk about the record and everything that's going on is the fact that this is a very good drive against one of the best defenses in the land. The Horns are simply moving the chains right now.
And they've had good field position to start their last 2 drives, but this Aggie defense does not give up many long runs. Only 4 over 20 all year long.
Second down and goal for Applewhite and the Horns. Here's Ricky again. Middle to the end zone. Just short. Ricky Williams is just short. And again, let's go back on the story. Louisiana Tech's Troy Edwards was shut out against Tulane yesterday. So Williams is the NCAA scoring leader at 16.2 points a game. And here he comes up just short. Now, if he can score twice today, he'd become the first man to lead in rushing and scoring in back-to-back seasons. He has carried 12 times here for 48 yards. Penalty flag comes down prior to the snap. There's going to be a penalty against the offense. So Tony Dorsett watching from the sidelines. You heard him. And right there next to him is another pretty good one. Earl Campbell.
Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That penalty really hurts Texas in a way because Major Applewhite was going to keep on the naked bootleg. Fake the pitch to Ricky Williams coming to the right, and Major was heading for the left side.
There's Earl on the left. Tony on the right. They'd have been pretty good together, Dan. They'd have been kind of tough.
Oh, I would think. Looks like Earl may have got Tony that burnt orange shirt. What do you think?
I think so. Third down and 6 after the 5-yard penalty, and Williams goes in motion to the left side. Now here's the Major back to the right, and it's still dropped. Incomplete at the 2-yard line. Looked like it was going to be the second interception, but Lonnie Madison, a big defensive end, could not hold on.
Well, Lonnie is a defensive tackle, 97 there. That's a zone blitz here. This has been real good for A&M all year long. But Lonnie shows you why he doesn't play tight end. That ball hit him in the chest and the hands. That would have been a huge interception for A&M.
Chris Stockton to attempt a 22-yard field goal. Brian White, a wide receiver, will hold on the play. Jay Humphrey will snap it. So the touchdown drive stalls, but Stockton kicks a 22-yarder, and the Horns are on the board first. Ricky needs 48. Timeout. Let me correct myself. Ricky today has rushed 12 times for 48 yards, and so he needs 15 to eclipse Tony Dorsett. You can see the countdown continue as the Horns put 3 on the board on a 22-yard field goal, and now the Aggies will go back on the attack. Sir Parker will be sent in, the fastest man on the Texas A&M team. Parker back. And he is smashed at the 19-yard line. Chris Taylor colliding with Parker on the play. And down he goes in a heap. And a reminder, doubleheader here. Most folks, this is a holiday, so more cheer coming your way on this Friday. Colorado against Nebraska. That is next here on ABC.
I kind of like working on holidays, Brent. Especially when you, well, I don't think we can call this work, do you?
No, I was about to say. We might be stretching it, buddy.
I heard they even pay us for this.
First down. The Aggies, who have not moved against this Texas front so far today. Dante Hall spreads out. He's forced back into the inside, however, and Renfro, their very active middle linebacker. This was very well defensed. Watch how the outside man forces him back toward Renfro. This is beautiful D.
Well, and Dusty, nickname is Scrappy. And it's because of plays like this, but also because when he first came to Texas, it seemed like he got in a fight every day as a freshman. So the seniors have said, hey, your name's not Dusty anymore, it's Scrappy.
That was strong safety Donald McCowan starting today, who forced him back in. The Aggies have run 7 plays, and yet they have lost 3 yards on their 7 plays. Cannot get anything going, and so McCowan, to fire and loosen it up, has got a tight end, and out of bounds at the 33-yard line on the play, and that was Leroy Hodge out of bounds, and there are the defensive coordinator. What a job Carl Reese has done. A penalty flag, incidentally, is down on the play.
And the thing about Carl Reese is that he said he wants to really crowd the line of scrimmage. A&M is an I formation play action passing offense, and that's what they did that time to get the ball to Hodge. But might be, this one's going to be against Texas too.
Steve Usacek, the
Personal
referee.
foul, roughing the passer on a defense, 15 yards at the end of the round, first down.
Let's check out the late hit on Randy McCown. He's got a bad right shoulder, missed a game a couple weeks ago. And how late is Sean Rogers? Oh, just about a day and a half.
Baumgartner stays in as a wideout along with Taylor. They go to the right side. 4 down linemen for the Horns on this first down near midfield. And nothing doing for the freshman Toombs. Lost a yard on the play as Rogers comes back after the personal foul, penetrates again, and this time makes the legal stop.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 305 pounds. He's a sophomore, and he started the game against Texas Tech 2 weeks ago, and he started this one as well. He adds a lot of bulk and quickness to that defensive line.
I think Carl Reese is the assistant coach of the year. If you saw this Longhorn team play defense or try to play defense a year ago and watch this year, I mean, what a turnaround. Here comes McCown, got the pocket this time, incomplete. Double coverage on the wide receiver that time. Aaron Oliver, number 16.
Aaron Oliver, number 16, incomplete.
Quentin Jammer, very active safety man over on the coverage as we now come to 3rd down and 11. To give you an idea, Dan, these are the numbers that reflect this turnaround.
It's an aggressive defense that will use 8- and 9-man fronts. They'll put their cornerbacks in man-to-man coverage, but they will switch it up. They'll be pressed sometimes, but they'll also play off. Tough to get a read from by the opposing quarterback.
Now it's 3rd down and long against Reese's D. And Walker came across into the backfield. Walker simply broke the snap count, apparently, and rushed into the backfield. I want to follow up on the Carl Reese story, because remember where he was last year, LSU. And look at what has happened to that defense since he left over there in Baton Rouge. The mark of a good assistant coach is R.C. Slocum, who has always been an outstanding defensive coach. That's how he made his reputation as a defensive coordinator. And in the month of November, remember this, he lost in December to Texas the first week of December, but in November he's lethal. So the penalty against Walker for jumping makes it a little bit easier for them now.
You know, that's the benefit of that shotgun formation. The quarterback can see the corner at Walker sneaking up and coming on the blitz. He can delay that count, and he just got Walker to jump off sides because he's over anxious.
3rd down and 6 for the Aggies. And McCown getting good blocking, but nobody over there. Taylor was well covered by Quentin Jammer. Jammer was all over the wide receiver. And Leckler will trot onto the field to punt again. And so the passing game, Dan, is having trouble.
1 out of 4 for 11 yards. I'd say that's trouble. They only got out this far because of that 15-yard personal foul penalty on Sean Rogers. So the A&M defense is being challenged by the Longhorn defense today.
Hodges Mitchell standing back on the Horns' 10-yard line. They're up a field goal. But Leckler and the Aggies this time begin to sort of turn the field position battle their way. If Leckler especially can pin him down inside the 20-yard line, the Aggies would feel very good about the situation, even though they're down a field goal and having trouble with the passing game. Here's Leckler trying to angle it and into the end zone. Couldn't get it. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. Let's check prime time football for you. Denver, San Diego. We'll ask Mr. Fouts about that in a minute. That's Sunday night on ESPN, 8:15 Eastern. Monday night, Giants, San Francisco. Jerry Rice says, give me the football more times. I need more catches. So we'll see what happens with number 80 and Steve Young. Let me ask you, the Chargers with Wheelahan now at quarterback, what can they do against the unbeaten Broncos?
I think it's the other side of the ball that's key for San Diego. Can that great defense they have stop John Elway?
So Ricky Williams needs 15 yards. Coming out from the 20-yard line. Here's the draw. Ricky battles his way for 4 yards. The kind of run, speaking of the NFL, the kind of run that will make him very big in the NFL. Dat Wynn making the stop, and now he needs just 11 yards to eclipse Tony Dorsett and become the NCAA all-time leading rusher. Could be done now within one run. The wrecking crew trying to hold him to a 4-yard average here. Applewhite to throw it, snaps it off. McGarrity's got it, 40-yard line and down. First down, Texas. 17 yards from Applewhite. Did you see the confidence? Did you see that wink on your screen? Here's the leading freshman quarterback in the land.
And this is his senior receiver who caught 4 touchdown passes in his last game against Texas Tech. That ball was deflected slightly at the line of scrimmage, and McGarity had the concentration to still make the catch.
Brown is the lead back for Ricky. Offsets it a little bit to the left. 11 yards shy of the record. Williams breaks a hole. Williams, hello record book. Ricky Williams runs to the Hall of Fame, cuts back. Ricky Williams, touchdown! 60 yards and the record is his. He does it in dramatic fashion. And a standing ovation for the king of the rushers. Mrs. Williams. He raised Ricky and a twin sister and another sister, a family of 3. She did it by herself in San Diego. And the young man who passed up the big bucks of the NFL for one more crack at the record, being embraced by Tony Dorsett on the sideline. He didn't just break it, ladies and gentlemen. He smashed it.
You know, Sandy has got to be the proudest mom in all of Texas right now, maybe the whole world. Ricky is such a wise young man. Told me that he knows that the record will be shown on a lot of TV shows, a lot of highlight programs. Man, what a highlight run.
So the gentleman with the soft voice and the sweet smile runs to immortality.
And don't forget the pierced tongue and the dreadlocks and the 4.38 40 speed. Watch his buddy, Wayne McGarity, number 8, clear the last man out of his way. No way, Ricky Williams is going to be denied as he dives in for the score.
Chris Stockton. Now, the record is behind them. Can they hang on? The Texas Longhorns with Ricky Williams, 14 carries for 112 yards. Jackaroot, that had to bring a tingle for Tony Dorsett the way Ricky smashed it.
Brent, it was a glorious moment. Your feelings, Tony?
Well, you know, I'm very happy for Ricky. You know, I was sitting here on the side standing here thinking, you know, when 22 years ago when I broke the record, I broke it on the touchdown run. I said, wouldn't it be ironic if Ricky did the same thing? So I'm very happy. Couldn't have been for a better guy in a better way, man. What a run.
Now, after that touchdown, he came over here, he grabbed the ball. You had a chance to have a private moment with him. What did you say?
I just congratulated him, man. We just embraced each other. I'm just very happy. It's almost like it's my child, man, to be here to witness something like this. You know, this is history. The whole state of Texas has been looking for this to happen. And for us right here on UT, I mean, the people going crazy. I'm just glad I'm just being a small part of it, just to be here to witness it.
Brent, the eyes of the world are in Austin today.
And the records continue to tumble as Ricky Williams moved past Tony Dorsett, but look who he conquered along the way. Archie Griffin, 2 Heisman trophies. Herschel Walker, 1. Charles White, 1. Dorsett, 1. And Ricky Williams' next stop will be the New York Athletic Club, and he'll pick that trophy up, take it to the bank. His 27th career 100-yard game is also in the record book as more and more numbers tumble for the great one. From the 14-yard line, Sir Parker dancing. Sir Parker to daylight. And Sir is down at the 47-yard line. An outstanding return for Sir Parker of 32 yards. And now the Aggies will attempt to get something going.
It's almost as if the Aggies say, okay, the preliminary ceremony and all that is taken and it's over. Now let's play some football. Sir Parker saw this great run. Watch it go as he goes across the left side here, following his fullback, Ricky Brown, breaking a tackle. The combination of power and speed. That's why he's the greatest of all time in college football.
The Aggies with a first down, trail it by 10. And the line judge throwing the flag prior to the snap.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And it was a wide receiver, Aaron Oliver, who's about 30 yards from the football, who jumped off sides. That's what you might call an inexcusable mistake. What's his hurry?
Sir Parker comes back in the game, and Oliver will take a seat over there for his mental error, putting the Aggies back in a 1st and 15. Parker goes to the short side of the field. McCown looks in that direction, got him underneath for about 7 yards and out of bounds, with Irvis Hill, the corner, defending on the play. There's number 15 over there on that side, only a freshman.
Yeah, you could fill up an entire 3-hour broadcast by just recounting all of Ricky Williams' numbers. But you know, that's the 4th time he's gone over 100 yards in just 1 quarter this year.
His only weakness, ladies and gentlemen, as an athlete, he can't hit the curveball very well, we are told. 2nd down and 7. McCown snaps to the middle, and Spiller, the tight end, is down at the 48-yard line as he crosses midfield. Gained 4 yards on the play, and Jammer jams him again. And so 6,132 yards as the records continue to fall. The ones he already holds. 72 career rushing touchdowns now. The overall point total. Yards in consecutive games. And the Aggies come out with a 3rd and 3. McCown fires incomplete behind the receiver that time. Bumgardner. And Leckler trots onto the field.
That Longhorn defense doing a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage, and that's allowing their secondary to play a little bit more aggressively and a little tighter to the receivers. McCown had nobody to throw to that time.
Hodges Mitchell back deep for the Horn offense. So what a holiday treat for the crowd in Austin as Leckler angles one, and let's see where this is marked as the back judge will walk up. He will set it with the referee, and boy, what a favorable spot. Out of bounds at the 11-yard line, they say. So the Aggies get the best of that spot, and Leckler again shows you why he's one of the best in the country.
And the one thing Mac Brown told us he wanted to do is to jump into this game early and force A&M to play Texas style of football, not A&M style, which has been mostly defense and field position throughout the season. But right now they're in a catch-up mode, and the Aggies are not a catch-up offense.
So it has been a 4-year celebration. And remember, Ricky Williams was not even the featured back for the first couple of years as he gets still another carry. Fumble! A&M's got it. Aggies recover it at the 19-yard line. One play after the record, Ricky coughs it up with Cornelius Anthony recovering for the Aggies, and it will be first down, Texas A&M.
But the wrecking crew wrecks the party here. Watch Anthony. He's going to strip it out and make the recovery. 3rd time he's recovered a ball this year. 1st time he's been able to rip one loose.
Well, Ricky Williams has done it throughout his career for the Horns. Now let's see if his defensive teammates can respond in kind and hold the Aggies in check. 4 down linemen. Dante Hall is behind Toombs on the toss. Nothing doing. Extremely well defended as Casey Hampton from Galveston.
You know, Brent, all 3 of the defensive tackles for Texas have contributed today. We've seen Sean Rogers. That time it was Casey Hampton. Cedric Woodard has moved out to defensive end, so they're showing their speed and quickness, and they are controlling the line of scrimmage against the Aggies so far.
8 rushes for -5 yards against the big fellas down below, and that wraps up the first quarter. A record-breaking quarter. Let's take you back. 4 years ago, it was in Hawaii. At the time, nobody knew. Ricky Williams, wearing number 11, was stopped for a loss. And then, a short time ago, he explodes and runs into the record book as he passes the greatest runners in history, and now he's the all-time rusher. Ricky Williams. We're back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
At the end of the first quarter, Texas leads Texas A&M 10-0, but the Aggies with a chance. And you can see, and please for a minute forget Ricky Williams and concentrate on the Longhorn defense. -5 rushing, a total of 18 yards. Here is 2nd down and 11 to start the 2nd period. Hall is behind Toombs. McCown to throw it. Gets time. McCown misfired. Taylor, the intended receiver, in the end zone. And it will be 3rd down and 11.
We talked about how the A&M offense has struggled all year long. Well, you can see why they're 90th, 9-0 TH in the country. And they come in the game with a good rushing attack, but -5 yards so far.
Here's the passing down from McCown. The 3 wides are off to his left. Woodard was coming and caught. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Derek Spiller, the tight end. 20 yards on the scoring strike as Ricky Williams' fumble leads to an Aggie touchdown.
Randy McCown with his 5th touchdown pass of the year. It's an out and up to his tight end, Derek Spiller. The pump fake there, and then the nice soft lob throwing to his tight end, who gets behind the secondary and in the end zone. Randy McCown beats Donald McCown.
Russell Bynum adds the extra point. These two schools have been involved in some classics through the years. Let's check in now on our Marriott moment. 1977. Texas ranked #1 and led by a great running back, Earl Campbell. Watch him slip out of the backfield. On this day, he did more than catch this touchdown pass. He rushed for over 220 yards on 27 carries. Overall, he would score 4 touchdowns, and the Horns rolled 57-28. You know, Campbell, one of the greats.
Brent, you know, I played with Earl in a couple of Pro Bowls, and it was a real pleasure. But I was scared to death every time I went to hand him the ball because I was afraid he was going to run me over. He's so big and so quick and so powerful, but what a great player Earl Campbell was.
Jeremy Jones and Ryan Nunez. Nunez over on the right, transferred back to Austin, Texas, where he went to high school to play for the Horns. He was up in Boulder playing with Colorado. He's back deep. Shane Leckler. Here's Nunez from the 11-yard line to the 27-yard line.
Got to be offsides against the Aggies. Leckler has a different style of kicking off. Doesn't run up to it.
Offside on the kicking team.
So R.C. Slocum watching and happy to take advantage of the fumble. So they're going to have them re-kick it. So let us check in with Jack Arute. Jack.
Well, Randy McCown's been very, very busy on the sidelines. The first thing he did after he scored that touchdown was grab every one of his offensive linemen and said, thanks for holding them up front. Then he went to the backfield and finally to the wide receivers and said, that's what we need to do today.
So they'll re-kick here, Jack. Had the ball out on the 27, remember, as a result of the penalty, and they'll give Leckler a second crack at it. Nunez at the 19-yard line. So this didn't pay off, did it out of bounds. Gives him a little bit better field position as a result. And here comes Ricky Williams. 15 carries for 120 yards on the day. Remember now, he needs 15 more for 2,000 this year. That's not a bad standard either as he comes on out.
I'll give it to him. Give it to him on this first one. Let's see if we get 3,000.
Horns lead it by a field goal. The battle for bragging rights in the huge state of Texas. A whole lot of great football played in this state. No better city to watch the college game than Austin, Texas. Here is Applewhite in trouble, going down in a heap. Sacked at the 29-yard line. Seemed a little slow in the pocket that time. Terry Nichols, freshman from El Paso, collapsing on him.
You know, the disguise of this defense, Mike Hankowitz, the defensive coordinator, loves to change up his secondary. We've already seen how the zone blitz has paid off when Lonnie Madison almost picked off Applewhite. That time Applewhite was zeroed in on just one receiver, but there were 2 defensive backs covering that one receiver.
Second down and 16 with Hankowitz expecting the pass, surely, with 4 rushmen up. And instead they run Ricky to the short side of the field, and a penalty flag, probably a face mask against the Aggies. Not only was it a face mask, they took his whole dang helmet off, and you can see those dreadlocks.
Half his jersey, too.
Let me tell you a story about the offensive line, ladies and gentlemen, seeing that hair. A year ago, after his big rushing year, he took them all out to dinner, and he, of course, picked up the bill with his baseball check, and you will watch. This is clearly a penalty, and there's no question it's yanked off on that sideline. Now, this year, the offensive line...
15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
The offensive line came to Ricky and said, Ricky, you don't have to take us out to dinner this year, but there is something that each of us would like to do. We'd like one snip apiece of the dreadlocks. We do not know yet whether or not Ricky is going to allow his offensive line to snip away when this is over, but that is their request. First down and 10 now for the Horns, and Applewhite changes it up at the line. Cavill and McGarity, two good ones off to his right. Applewhite looks in that direction. Got it into McGarity's hands, who's very quick. And McGarity is stopped from the first down that time by Cedric Curry, the corner, who would not give way.
Cornelius Bennett with the face mask penalty against Ricky Williams. And now Cedric Curry and Wayne McGarity getting into it a little bit.
Got an Aggie down on the play also.
Anthony's play on the strip of Ricky Williams and recovering that fumble has given the Aggies new life.
ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Ford Expedition. The only way to get there, Ford Expedition, built Ford tough. The document company Xerox. Keep the conversation going. Share the knowledge. And Chili's, proud sponsor of ABC college football. Nice to have you along with us. Remember, Colorado and Nebraska still to come. Whole lot of things to be decided in what is going to be an interesting and perhaps a very controversial college football season. We'll have to wait and see what happens next week. Jay Brooks replaces Curry in the defensive backfield for the Aggies. So the backup corner is in over there on second and short for the Horns. And here's Ricky, ridden down after 5 yards. Now here's Sandy on the record run. Ricky's mom. That's my baby.
You got a feeling she ran every inch of it, too, with them.
They split the backs. Texas does after a first down on that play. Now they'll send Williams in motion to the short side of the field for Applewhite. Got him going downfield. He'll curl back. Got it on the reception. Ricky spins and gains 9 yards on the pass play. Let's go down to Jack Arute. Jack.
Well, Brent, as we took a look at his mom, Sandy, it's a great story that Ricky Williams got a $50,000 signing bonus when he decided to go out for professional baseball in the Phillies organization. He didn't buy a new car or a sport utility vehicle. He didn't buy any jewelry. What he did is he took that $50,000, moved his mother to Austin, Texas, and his 2 sisters. He paid for their college tuition to go to school with him right here in Austin.
He is a fine, fine young man. And here today he's rushed for 128 yards, needs 7 more for a couple of thousand. Picks his way free, now to daylight, and reaches for it. To the 25-yard line. Needing just 1 yard officially.
And you're seeing all his skills. We're seeing him run over guys, run away from guys, and he can pick his way too. Great vision at the line of scrimmage when there's a lot of traffic.
A huge first half and 1 mistake. It has been the Ricky Williams show. Coming again behind Raisler, the lead blocker buries the defender, tries to slip a tackler and cannot. Ricky Williams picks up so many yards after contact. Jason Webster hanging on that time. 2,000 yards for Ricky Williams on that run. And Ricky will take a well-deserved break. Hodges Mitchell, his backup, is into the backfield. Second down and 9 after the gain for Ricky. Applewhite facing pressure, out of bounds and incomplete as the Aggies bring some heat that time. You know, it's interesting, we're talking about Sandy and how she raised the children. She had to work, and she stressed around the house responsibility and honesty, and she told Ricky and the rest of the children that they could cut school 1 day a semester. And then she told Ricky that if he was man enough to do something wrong, he had to be man enough to tell her about it. And then she said, I'll back you up. And Sandy, you raised a heck of a family. A twin sister, and the younger sister is a fine writer, an aspiring journalism student here, works for the SID's office. Applewhite, Cavill, dances free, 15, spins to the 10-yard line. 14 yards.
You see the 2 receivers at the bottom of the screen. Here comes Cavill. Now watch the block he gets by Brian White right there, number 1. And then his offensive linemen are downfield. And a beautiful spin move there to get him to the 10-yard line.
Now remember, Ricky is 1 touchdown away from wrapping up the scoring championship this year in college football. Won it last year. Slides into that hole for a couple of yards. You know, you got the feeling in talking to the A&M coaches and even some of the players, Dan, that they were delighted just to be on the same field today with Ricky Williams. You know how sometimes there's animosity between a defense and a great running back or a quarterback, but in this instance, none of the kind exists at all. There's nothing but the greatest of respect by the coaches on the Aggie staff and Ricky Williams.
Well, and RC knows that this record wasn't set all against A&M. It's set against all of college football.
Second down with the ball at the 8-yard line. Play fake to Ricky. Applewhite, receivers covered, and so he scrambles to the 6-yard line. This will leave them with about a 3rd and 5 coming up here for the Horns as Bradley, outside linebacker, makes the stop on the quarterback.
The Wrecking Crew secondary did a great job that time. Rich Cody was all over the tight end Derek Lewis. That's where Major wanted to go with the ball.
Officially, it looks like a 3rd and 6 where they spotted the ball. Yes, it is. Got an 8:54 in the first half. 10-7. Williams has smashed the record, scored 1 touchdown on a 60-yard run, and the officials.
Well, the play clock is out, Brent, and Major Applewhite came up to the line of scrimmage and pointed to the blank play clock. There you see it, and asked the referee to do something about it.
Have to go back like the old days and feel it in your head, huh, Dan?
Is the 25-second clock down?
Yeah, it is. Oh, I thought he was talking to me.
There it is.
He's getting a lot of help. 83,000 or so. What a great scene today.
Yeah, it's a wonderful rivalry here in Texas. Austin's such a great setting, and the Aggie fans are all here. The end zone along with their band. 3rd down. Cavill in motion toward the line, and a Major over the middle, deflected, incomplete, and almost intercepted by Jennings. So here comes the field goal unit trotting onto the field for Texas. Stockton with 1 22-yarder already today.
Brandon Jennings almost picked off his 2nd pass of the day, but it really appears that Applewhite is a little bit confused. Doesn't seem to be able to get into a rhythm where he can get back and get rid of the ball. Spending a lot of time trying to just figure out the Aggie secondary.
This be a 24-yarder. And it's from that right hash. Up a little close. But he sends it through. So 2 field goals for Chris Stockton. A 60-yard touchdown for Ricky Williams. And the Horns lead it. We've got timeout. Well, many times there's rain, sleet, snow, a little bit of everything for Texas A&M. But today, It is perfect in the low 70s. Good day to set a record.
Or 2 or 3.
They keep falling, don't they? The assault is underway. 8:36 left in the first half. 13-7 Horns over the Aggies. Stockton ready to kick it away, and again they put the speedster, Sir Parker, shooting toward the right hash. He's going to field it at the goal line. Here he comes. Looking alley. Battles his way back. And the fastest man on the Texas A&M team takes it out to the 35-yard line before the kicker, Chris Stockton, can bring him down. Wheel time now for our Aflac Trivia Quiz. Today is the 105th meeting between these two great schools. What is the most played rivalry in Division 1A football? We'll give you the answer to the Aflac a little bit later. It's going to surprise you, too.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Brent. It surprised me. But I'm easily surprised sometimes.
Me too, partner. Here's McCown, needs to get it going. Dante Hall. They struck from good field position following the fumble. Here's the toss now. Dante slips. Down at the 34-yard line. Get wary. We noticed during pregame warmups that the Aggie defensive backs tended to be slipping as they were warming up, but not much slip and slide to the Horns so far.
Yeah, I think that's what you call the home field advantage. They don't practice on this field. They practice a little bit of ways from the stadium, and the field is in excellent condition, although it is a new field, relatively speaking.
The grass only 5/8 of an inch high. The Horns keep it a fast track. The faster, the better. Mowed yesterday and again early this morning by the grounds crew here. Second down, and McCown floats a bouncer. Cole, the intended receiver. I believe Cole has been shut out here today. Yes, he has. Roger Riley, our stats man, acknowledges that. We've been keeping Roger on overtime with that Ricky Williams today.
Yeah, he's got the numbers going pretty good. This is unbelievable about the rushing problems of A&M. Dante Hall came into the game with 903 yards on the season, so he was looking to break the 1,000-yard mark. He has -1 so far today.
Third down and 12. McCown rolls hard. Got it into Cole's hands that time, and he is out of bounds at the 43-yard line. He is short of the first down. It is going to be 4th and short, and so Leckler trots onto the field as Irvis Hill, the freshman, forced him out of bounds before the first down.
Gives you an idea of the strength of Randy McCown getting out of the pocket, throwing his best pass of the afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? Nope, of the morning.
Breakfast with Ricky. Seemed kind of eerie coming to the stadium around 6:30, didn't it, buddy?
It was dark.
4th down. High. There's Hodges Mitchell waving for the fair catch at the 20-yard line. We'll take a break. The Horns lead it. It's 13-7, timeout.
Insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
What is Nicorette? Nicotine replacement gum. It helps you stop smoking cigarettes, but you don't chew it like regular gum. You bite Nicorette until it tingles. Then you hold it between your cheek and your gum. And you get a lower level of nicotine to help you fight your cravings. And as your cravings get fewer and fewer, you use less and less and less Nicorette until you use none. And none is a wonderful number.
Nicorette gum helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Let me tell you about the best traffic report in town, brought to you by QXRT's Barb and Bill.
Woo! It's a scorcher out there, and I hope none of you are trying to get anywhere soon. From up here, it looks like a little backup heading downtown.
These guys have the ultimate view.
This is Barb and Bill, the QXRT traffic team, signing out. Once again, our Explorer saves the day.
Yeah, glad we're not down in that mess.
And just think of the money they saved on a helicopter. The new Ford Explorer, built Ford tough.
That's an impressive set of horns there on young Vivo, isn't it? Yes, indeed. He's just proud as can be of number 34 today. First down coming up. Rookie, the tailback spot behind Brown. Here's a delayed toss to him, sort of a muffed play, and nowhere to go that time. It did not develop as quickly as it should have. And let's check in with Jackaroo. Jack?
Well, Brett, the coaches want to see Major Applewhite change his drop back in the passing situations. They feel like he's taking too many steps, and that's creating a problem for the receivers. So they say to Major that last time on the sidelines, cut your drop back in half. And Dan Fouts, wouldn't that affect his vision, being as short as he is?
Well, Jack, he's 6'1", but if he can get back and get rid of the ball in some type of rhythm, that will help him.
This could be a passing play coming up here. Short drop, fires right side, perfect spiral that time, and McGarity is swarmed short of the first down. And remind you that tomorrow on ABC Sports, nice to see that Greg Norman's back, and he will be in the Skins game competition along with Fred Couples, Mark O'Meara, and the defending champion, Tom Lehman. All right, Mr. Fouts, who you want? Norman, Couples, O'Meara, or Lehman for all the Skins? Come on, baby. For dinner next week in St. Louis. Take your pick.
I'll take the field, and you can have Norman.
I want Tiger Woods. Can I bring him in? Where is Tiger when we need him? Third down. I guess he's making bucks over in Asia. Third down. Fire to the right side. There's the first down. They put it into McGarity's hands.
And, you know, the coaches can talk all they want about the quarterback's mechanics and how many steps and everything. But if he has time to throw, he's going to find his people no matter if he's 6'1" or 6'10". A lot of cushion that time by Jason Webster, number 39, on McGarity. But maybe Webster saw that McGarity had 174 yards on just 6 catches last game out.
First down and 10. And the Major starts to loosen things up. Here's the fumble. Cavell on the end around. Has to take the deep drop. Nothing doing as he bobbled the handoff from Ricky Williams with Warwick Coleman's substitute Jason Glenn closing in.
Well, they wanted to get Cavill involved in a reverse to kind of slow down and give the Aggies some misdirection. Ball is just a little bit high to Cavill from Ricky, but I think Cavill also was looking up and not looking the ball in. Most important thing on a reverse is to get the ball.
Ricky Williams, 21 carries, 136 yards, and the attempt for Razzle Dazzle cost him 10 that time, and so they come right back with Ricky, and he picks his way, broke 2 tackles, still coming free to the 41-yard line. I hope that our friend Carmen Policy is watching this. He would look lovely in Cleveland Brown colors. Are you kidding me? Watch this run.
They might even change the orange and brown of the Browns to maybe burnt orange. Ricky says that'd be fine with him. Man, you can't do it much better than that.
13 more yards, 22 carries for 149 yards. The fewest he's ever gained against Texas A&M is 145. Past that already in the first half. Applewhite hits Brian White for 11 yards. 10 right on the marker. First down.
Hey, you got to give the Aggies credit, though, for holding Brian White 30 yards under his average. That's right. He averages 40 yards per catch on his 5 catches before this one. So this is an average killer for Brian White. Nobody will ever forget those 2 great receptions he had against Nebraska to key that upset win.
First down and 10. And the Major, who was named after a pretty good running back at Alabama, Major Ogilvy, driving the horns. Great play action, going to take it deep. Incomplete. McGarity, the intended receiver, defended at the goal line by Jason Webster.
Let's check out McGarity. Remember, he scored 4 times last week, or in their last game 2 weeks ago against Tech. That's perfect coverage by Webster. Did not allow McGarity to cut to the inside to make a play on the ball.
2nd down and 10. Ricky Williams slides into that left tackle spot and crosses midfield for 3 more yards. He slammed into safety Rich Cody that time, didn't he? 152 yards and 23 carries, and folks, this is the first half. He's going to set a standard that is going to be so tough for anybody to break, because remember, many great running backs leave college after their junior season. They go to the NFL. It was an upset when Ricky came back and became the Iron Man of the Texas Longhorns. This one could stand for a long time. Applewhite slips away, hit on the release, complete, 1st down. Beautiful throw under pressure to Nunez by Applewhite.
Well, his offensive coordinator Greg Davis says that Applewhite is a cool customer under pressure. You won't find much more pressure on a quarterback than this play. Watch as he steps out of a tackle here. He's got Nunez all the way. Gets away from that one, then takes a hit from Dat Wynn. Nice catch, too, by Nunez on the other end of it.
1st down and 10. Kansas State watching carefully. They play Texas A&M next week for the Big 12 title. Ricky Williams blows into the hole. Just count the number of white shirts that it took to hog tie him and bring him to the ground. 161 yards, and John Saunders and Todd Blackledge will show you the record breaker, and it was a beauty. 60 yards for a touchdown. Aggies call a timeout. The Horns are on the move. We'll take a break in Austin.
The Home Depot is offering this Black & Decker drill for an incredibly low $17. You'll also find this Black & Decker jigsaw for an unbelievable price of just $17. And this Black & Decker finishing sander, you guessed it, just $17. Great tools at a great price. You'll find all 3 at the Home Depot, but you might want to hurry. Anyone with a workshop is going to want one.
My name is Dennis Porter, and I work in the Ford Dummy Lab. They build it, we crash it. We don't care about the damage, we care about people. Our testing exceeds the government standards. Ford has more 5-star rated vehicles than any other car manufacturer. We go that extra mile to make sure that our cars are safe. I'm proud of that.
Texas A&M University, where leaders are developed, bright minds are challenged, and a rich tradition defines us. Where scholars conduct important research to enrich the lives of people everywhere. We have one of the largest student bodies in the country, yet we are committed to giving our students personal attention. We are Texas A&M University, daring to be the best, keeping an eye on the future.
Promotional consideration provided by National Car Rental, the official car rental company of the Bowl Championship Series on ABC.
Let's go! All right, there's your Aflac trivia question. 105th meeting. Now, what's the most played rivalry? So here's the list of your top rivalries. Look at it, folks. Minnesota, Wisconsin. 108 games, one more than Missouri, Kansas. Paul Bunyan's Axe. That's what Minnesota and Wisconsin play for. Well, Kansas got a couple great rivalries, don't they? And here he comes again to the 24-yard line. That's a 1st down on 2nd and 1 with Jennings making the stop. Dan, let's talk about this offensive line. Bishop, Raisler, Gaskamp, Adams, and Humphrey. This is the group that has opened the way, and they have done it with such pride for Ricky.
Well, there's 4 seniors, and the junior is Raisler, the left guard, number 72. But, you know, they don't get any credit for anything, it seems like. But they will long love this record. They're a big part of it.
Great fake by Applewhite. Got it! Touchdown, Texas! Flag is down. There is a penalty flag on the play. McGarity in the end zone, but hold on.
Hold on is a key word, Brent. Hold on by the offensive line we just talked about being so good at run blocking. One of those big guys got called for holding on a pass play, and a touchdown pass play at that.
So the touchdown nullified because of holding. And this is a tough penalty in the college game right from the spot of that hold.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty on the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
It comes all the way back to the 36-yard line. That's a 12-yard loss.
And at least 12 yards and at least 6 points.
First down and 22. And the Major will take this one back in the shotgun. The Aggies. Here's the handoff. Ricky Williams, nothing doing. The Aggies were ready for that inside handoff. Anthony jumped all over him.
This is twice now that Russell Gaskamp, the center, has given Applewhite a high snap. The first time resulted in an interception. This one results in a loss for Ricky Williams.
Sets him back to 159 yards in the first half on 26 carries. And so here now is second down and a bunch. The Major steps up against the pressure, fires incomplete. He overthrew Ricky Williams, who was out in the flat that time, being defended by Michael Jamison, who was in as an extra defensive back, and he picked up the running back sliding out of the backfield that time. And so here comes third down and 27 from the 41.
That's not a bad plan, though, on second down and 27 to dump it off to Ricky and see what he can get for you.
And if Hankowitz defense holds up, the Horns have been knocked out of field goal range here too. That's basically what the Horns were hoping to do. They're only up 13-7 right now in this game. The Applewhite looking down toward Ricky again, and Williams across the 35-yard line. So Long trots onto the field, and they will also send Stockton in to attempt the field goal. And this is going to be a long one here with a slight breeze. It's sort of a crosswind blowing from across the field toward us. You can see the flags rippling a little bit. This is a 49-yarder. They're going to call a timeout. Brian White, the holder, wants to call a timeout. He wants to talk about it over the sideline. So we'll take a break. Well, there are some options. If he kicks his field goal, it would be a 49-yard attempt. Now, they could make a direct snap, and he could pooch punt it with 42 seconds left here in the first half. So the Horns do have options on the play. White and Stockton have it set, and he's going to attempt it. He has a long leg. Got it in, and it's good. 49 yards for Chris Stockton. His third field goal of the first half, Dan.
Brent, that was huge. From 49 yards out, that gives them a 9-point lead.
A little breathing room for the Horns. Timeout. 3 field goals for Chris Stockton, who will kick this one away with 42 ticks of the clock left. The Aggies struck after a Ricky Williams fumble on a 20-yard touchdown pass from Randy McCown. And he hit Derek Spiller for the Aggies' only score. That is the longest play of the first half for the Aggies offensively. And Sir Parker, the dangerous one, favoring the right hash. Obviously, Stockton prefers to bring his kickoffs over there, and they have scouted it, and let's see if they're going to give Parker a chance. He's the fastest man on the Texas A&M team. They're going to kick it along the ground, try to keep it out of his hands. And it is picked up by him on the big bounce to the 25, and he will come out of bounds to stop the clock at the 28-yard line with 32 ticks of the clock left. And a reminder that coming up next, of course, we'll send you up to Lincoln, Nebraska. It'll be Colorado and Nebraska. The Big 12, powerful this year. A lot of teams headed to bowls out of this conference. The championship game, a week from Saturday, will be up in St. Louis. That, of course, was the scene of a great upset by Texas over Nebraska a couple years ago. Now McCown with Sir Parker in the backfield. 2 wideouts off to his left. And they will run Toombs straight ahead, preferring just to bring the clock on down and kill the corner making the stop. There's a young man who was heavily recruited by the Ohio States, the Notre Dames, the Penn States. Everyone wanted this young man, and he weighed in this summer at 270 pounds. Coach said you look a little heavy, so he got it on down to 263. And he has a fine future as R.C. Slocum lets it run out. And the Texas defense holds the Aggies to -5 yards. But the story of the first half was Ricky Williams. Coming into the game, he needed 63 yards. And in one explosive moment, he passed Tony Dorsett, and he carried the Horns into the end zone on a 60-yard touchdown. 159 yards in the first half. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge are next.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Yes, Ricky Williams was magnificent for the Longhorns in the first half, but they lead also because of a stout defense against the run. Aaron Humphrey, Cedric Woodward, Casey Hampton, Sean Rogers, and J.J. Kelly all contributed. And then Dusty Renfro, their fine middle linebacker, when things were forced back toward him, was up to the task. And Dan Fouts, they have really been fierce against the run as we look at the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats.
-5 yards, that's incredible. And then you go down here to what the A&M's defense has allowed. On the year, only 250 yards per game. 257 for Texas in the first half.
Texas to kick it off as we start the second half. Stockton deep and out of the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. And Jackaroo, what the coaches have to say following our intermission.
Brent, R.C. Slocum was extremely upset about the fact that his defense took 50 snaps out on the field. He said, we've got to do a better job tackling. Now, for Mack Brown, it was the number 30 that he talked about. He put it on the board and said, gentlemen, we've got 30 minutes left. He who plays the hardest, the longest, will win this game.
Yeah, exactly, Jack. Ball control, time-consuming drives by the Longhorns and Ricky Williams in the first half. McCown with Dante Hall behind him. Sort of an option look and a busted play, and it's only good for about a yard. And Rogers all over him in the middle of that defensive front.
Well, it's important for A&M to realize that they're still in the game, only down by 9. And I think we're going to see McNown start to move out of the pocket. Tried the option play that time. But if Texas is going to dare A&M to throw the ball, then get it to your 2 best wideouts, Cole and Taylor.
So Randy McCown brings the Aggies to the line of scrimmage. Sir Parker goes in motion, and immediately a DB picks him up. Covered. Now he'll try to get it downfield to him, and incomplete on the play. And Spiller protesting that he was being held by Renfro, who had slipped into coverage to pick up the tight end that time. Renfro had the tight end, and the running back out of the backfield was well defended. So again, Carl Reese's defense doing the job here for the Horns.
And, you know, part of it, what happens, Brent, when the quarterback starts to scramble around, it affects the officials, too. They no longer look at the receiver. They're starting to look at where the quarterback's going.
3rd down and 10 and shotgun Aggies. McCown incomplete. It's 3 and out. Walker with the coverage that time.
An option play that doesn't get anything, and then 2 bad passes by Randy McCown. Wouldn't surprise me if Brandon Stewart doesn't start to warm warm up on the Aggie sideline. He's the better thrower of the two quarterbacks.
Shane Leckler standing at the Aggies 6-yard line with Hodges Mitchell back deep for the Horns. Wants to let it bounce, trying to get him out of the way. Short kick. Took a Horn bounce. Touched at the 46-yard line. So Major Applewhite to work with half a field after a bad punt for Leckler of only 26 yards. Ricky Williams in that first half averaging better than 6 yards a crack. And of course the big one, the 60-yarder for the record and the Longhorn touchdown as Mac Brown in his first year undefeated here in Austin with this Longhorn team, and today trying to win the Battle of Texas for the Aggies. Next Saturday, Big 12 championship in the Dome in St. Louis. Kansas State. How good is Kansas State? We'll find out. Ricky Williams was stopped by that K-State defense. In fact, they're the only defense to really shut him down this year. Ron Edwards, the nose man, making the stop that time.
I think the big difference when you look back at the trouble that Texas had and Ricky Williams had against K-State is that it was Major Applewhite's first start at quarterback. And the Longhorns did not have as much confidence in the redshirt freshman as they have now. Of course, he's performed a lot better, too.
McGarity approaching a Texas record. He's only one catch from the single-season record of 57. So the first time he catches it, and it falls. 11 yards, and the record-breaking day continues in Austin, Texas.
And look at the cushion that McGarity has. Remember, he had a huge week against Texas Tech. But this is just too much room by Jason Webster. He's got to tighten up on McGarity. He's shown he has the ability to stay with him on the long ball down the field.
There's a couple of wide receivers up in Manhattan, Kansas, drooling when they see that. Michael Bishop will fire hard if they're that soft. He'll move it on them. First down and 10 here for the Horns. Here's a toss. Here's Ricky. Short side. Got it. And Ricky Williams bangs for 8 more yards on that play with Dat Wynn bringing him down.
Dat Wynn with his 6th tackle. Remember, he needs 6 more to get to 500. Big effort guy. Probably the odds-on favorite to win the Butkus Award as best linebacker in the country. He's got more tackles than any of the other finalists combined.
So Ricky with 168 yards now and 28 carries. Here's second down and 1. Ricky steps for the first down. Going to be very close. Let's wait for him to spot on this. And a reminder that tomorrow the holiday of football feasting continues. Michigan State, Penn State. I guess they'll split the country on that, or at least those of you in the ACC land will see North Carolina State against North Carolina. And then in prime time tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Tough Luck Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Never thought I would say that about Notre Dame against USC, but I really feel for them losing a quarterback on a freak injury when they're taking a safety like they did that time when I saw the videotape. And we'll have to see who they finally come up with. That is a first down, so give Ricky another yard on the play, but we'll have to see what the Irish come up with. You know, it's an interesting statistic, Dan. You were telling me that first-time starters at quarterback for Notre Dame have a remarkable record.
How about 9-0?
That's unbelievable to me.
Well, a couple of them had some pretty good careers afterwards, too. Some guy named Montana was in part of that 9-0, too. As was Ron Paulus.
So it'll be Arnez Battle or Eric Chappelle quarterbacking the Fighting Irish, and that's always a good traditional battle in the Coliseum tomorrow night. I look forward to that. First down and 10. And here he comes, the record breaker, Brown. It is so hard for the first defender to bring him down, but that time, Rich Cody hanging on. Rich's daddy played for the Chicago Bears, and Cody a walk-on. Aggie land, and that time he would not let Ricky go. The largest crowd in history, and they have been here for a record-breaking day. Ricky Williams, the all-time rushing leader. The crowd includes Tony Dorsett, Earl Campbell. He's now up to 169 yards. Needed only 63 when the day began. He smashed the record. Second down and 10. Applewhite in trouble, and down he goes as Datwin comes through with the sack, the second sack by the wrecking crew today.
Dat's had a great career at A&M, but remarkably, this is only his 5th sack of his career. Does not make a lot of plays in the backfield on the quarterback, but that time, that's a huge play because that really backs up the Longhorns.
Datwin, a Vietnamese refugee. He was born in a refugee camp in Arkansas. Battled his way out, learned how to speak fluent English. Outstanding student. One of those great stories in college football. From the shotgun, the major got protection coming left side, overthrew Cavill at the 5-yard line, and it goes incomplete. I think the crowd in Austin is a little bit exhausted from cheering for Ricky Williams in the first half. Things have settled in now with Chris Stockton, who has hit 3 field goals today, including a 49-yarder, and now he's going to try a 50-yarder. And folks, the 49-yarder would have made this easily. So let's see if he can, from right almost dead center, knock this 50-yarder through. This is a big, big field goal. Off to the right this time. And Stockton misses one. And so the Aggies are still there. But can they generate an offense? We'll find out. The Aggies are averaging only 2 yards a play against this Texas defense. Their longest possession was 2 minutes and 6 seconds. That was the opening drive, Dan.
And this is their goals. They wanted to 3 and out 6 times. They got it 5 times so far.
Dante Hall can't seem to get it going behind the offensive line. He'll try the middle, and that time it was a little softer, and he barges in there for perhaps 7 yards on the play before the corner Joe Walker comes up. You cannot say enough about Dat's sack on the play because that forced Stockton back out of field goal range. And right now, remember, with 10 points, touchdown and a field goal, the Aggies could take a 1-point lead in this game. So it was a huge sack. And now it is officially 2nd down and 4 coming up. Paul steps in and he is stopped. There is Casey Hampton, the defensive tackle, making still another hit. It has been the defensive line that has outplayed the Aggies' offensive line throughout this football game. That has been the difference here today.
Yeah, they're just too quick for the Aggie offensive line right now. They've been able to stunt and penetrate and get to Dante Hall before he can get started. Hall is a great runner in the open field, but he's not getting the chance.
It is 3rd down and 2. Aggies search for a play. Here's Hall to the middle, stuffed, short of the 1st down. And again, it was Hampton and Sean Rogers, 73, who would not give way that time.
And I think that the difference in the running attacks, obviously Ricky Williams is a great one, but it's in the fullback. The blocking of Ricky Brown is so much better than the blocking of Jamar Toombs, who's a true freshman. Big difference when you're running a lead type of play like that one. The fullback has to clear the way for the tailback.
Here comes a busy Aggie punter, Shane Leckler. His 7th punt, Hodges Mitchell. Back deep, Leckler gets outstanding hang time. He punts that ball out of sight sometimes. A good punter we've seen in college football this year. Had a bad one his last time out, and this one he does get to the clouds on, and a penalty flag is thrown. They were too close. They violated the halo around the return man that time, and they'll pay a price for it.
Wouldn't be a college punt return unless they had a flag on this type of play. I think the players ought to think about that halo as a 5-yard halo and not a 2-yard. Just stay away from the receiver as much as possible.
We have a halo violation on a kicking team. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
I like this referee a lot. I mean, when Usacek steps in and makes the call, baby, there is no doubt. Timeout, 16-7 Horns.
They say the soul lives on, and it does. Chrysler 300M, descended from the legendary 300-letter series. And now, Motor Trend 1999 Car of the Year.
The amazing Wizard Rotary Tool.
The Wizard removes grout.
And you can engrave your stuff.
It can sharpen your tools. For detail work, there's the flex shaft.
Dream device sculpting.
The Wizard has 25% more torque.
With a high-speed motor that won't bog down.
By the end of the century, your TV will have over 500 channels. Almost enough to show you everything the Wizard can do. The Wizard. The tool that knows no limits. Built by Black & Decker.
Because there is a man in Chicago planning his retirement this year. Because there is a family in Boston who hopes to send their kids to college someday. Because there is a doctor in New York looking forward to the day she will open her own clinic. Because the dreams of every investor continue to change in a complex world, so too have we. Which is why at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
It looks nothing like its famous ancestors. However, Motor Trend immediately recognized it. Chrysler 300M, descended from the legendary 300-letter series. And now, Motor Trend 1999 Car of the Year.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time. The Black & Decker Wizard, the tool that knows no limits. And Burger King, if you ask us, it just tastes better. With Jack Arute and Dan Fouts, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along on this record-breaking Friday afternoon in Austin, Texas. Ricky Williams gets it again and picks his way to daylight. Down after 8 more yards. That's his 31st carry of the afternoon, and he is now hitting on 177 yards.
And watch as he follows his fullback, number 44, Ricky Brown again. And look, the vision to see the hole. Warwick Holden was not even blocked, number 43, and Ricky ran right by him.
Applewhite puts it back at 34's hands. 3 more yards. First down, Texas. He is at 180 yards.
And he's working on the clock, too. Longhorns had a huge time of possession advantage in the first half. Nothing different here in the third quarter so far.
Dan, I'll never forget John McKay, the legendary coach of USC.
I know where you're going.
They used to jump up and down. How come you can give those great running backs the ball 35, 36 times? What? The ball's not heavy. Football's not heavy. What are they in the union, those backs? Come on. First down and 10.
And this is a right-to-work state.
Here's the major back. Drops it off to Ricky. And Williams to the 47-yard line that time. What a safety valve to have. Ricky Williams, he's caught 3 passes today for 26 yards. And Jack Arute, I think the big man on campus here in the years ahead will be Major Applewhite.
And Brent, nobody knows just how close Major Applewhite came to going to Texas A&M. How important is this game? Well, when Applewhite saw it, he originally committed to A&M, changed his mind in '96 when Texas romped over the Aggies 51-15.
He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he knows a good thing when he sees it. Ricky, there's a penalty marker thrown by the umpire as Ricky extended for a couple of yards. But the umpire, John Leinbach, threw the flag in that area where holding is sometimes called, and that win is shaken up, limping on the field. And if I read that, he said, don't bother.
He limped for about 4 steps and then just said, hey, I can still go, coach. Check it out here. Number 9, the relentless one. He's got Ricky, and he's not going to let go. And then he gets, must be a muscle pull of some type, maybe a cramp. Yep, that's a cramp, probably in his left calf there, and he was able to walk it off. What a tough guy, though. He could have a broken leg. He'd still be playing.
And Ricky was plowing with 225 pounds, hanging on. So the young man from Vietnam, who could be the first of the Vietnamese refugees to get a crack in the NFL, and wouldn't that be something? Second down and 11. He has great thoughts about that. Applewhite looks the field, comes back underneath to Ricky again, and he's spun down. You know, speaking of Dat Nguyen in the NFL, and of course he would be the first to play in the NFL, we asked him what it would mean to him to move up and play on Sunday. Here's what Dad said.
See, we're making a lot of progress, and you're seeing a Vietnamese American kid, you know, now making a lot of publicity, and also making dreams come true as not just for a Vietnamese American, but also just live an American dream. And I think that's really, really important. Where, you know, it shows that how much, you know, where we came from since the war.
And on third down, a first down for Texas, but. Let's go back to Dat Nguyen, and what a remarkable story. Sometimes we don't get an opportunity to concentrate on the positive stories that come out of the great game of college football. But Dat Nguyen stands so high with the great effort that he has brought in going to break the all-time tackling record at Texas A&M. And you think about the great linebackers, the Hollands and the rest of them, the Coriats who've come out of that school. And here he is, first down and 10 against his good friend, Ricky Williams. Penalty flag just prior to the snap. And let's check in with Jack. Dad is something, my friend.
Well, Brent, he takes very seriously the fact that he is a Vietnamese American. In fact, he has gone out of his way during his collegiate career to inspire other young Vietnamese Americans. In fact, there's a great story about the fact that there was a 10-year-old in a nearby school in College Station, an immigrant from Vietnam, could not speak any English, was having a great deal of difficulty in school. So all Dat Nguyen did was went to the school, spoke to him in his native tongue, said, "Show me around your school." The youngster lit up, and they have become fast friends since then. Dat thinks that that's an important role to play, whether you're on the field or off the field.
There's a young man named Desire. First down and 15 after the penalty against the Horns. Ricky trying to slash wide, threw a fake, and then plowed across the 45-yard line to the 44 with Cedric Curry in pursuit of the record breaker.
And that little fake bought him about 3 or 4 more yards as he just froze Rich Cody.
33 carries today, not to mention his 4 receptions. That's 37 touches, well for 200 yards total. And that was his 1,000th career carry, 4 years at Texas. Second down. Applewhite on the delay. The spin move. And hammered by Dat Nguyen, number 9.
And when you talk to R.C. Slocum about Dat Nguyen, and you kind of speculate on Dat's future in the NFL, a lot of people think, well, because of his size, that maybe he'd be better suited to play strong safety. But R.C. says, hey, there are a lot of good role models in the NFL that play in the middle. And when you have a heart and the desire and the explosiveness to drill a Ricky Williams like that, Dat Nguyen can play middle linebacker next year.
Passing down for Applewhite and the Horns. Third down and 9. Shotgun look. Drop it underneath. Cavill looking for daylight. Got it. 30, 25. Trying to break free. Brought down from behind at the 17-yard line. Sean Coriat, the younger brother of Quentin, catches him from behind.
This has been a real good play for the Longhorns today. It's the wide receiver screen. He comes in the middle. Watch as he picks up his blockers. This is almost like a kickoff return with the wedge blocking down there. Nice job on the outside by Webster to slow him up so Coriat can make the tackle.
Remember, Ricky Williams 1 touchdown away from wrapping up the scoring title in back-to-back years. First down and 10. The toss, short side. Ricky searches daylight, spins off Dat Nguyen and could not escape his grasp, and is down at the 15. And Dat Nguyen is struggling with that cramp. We remind you, Denver, San Diego Sunday on ESPN primetime football. That's Sunday, the unbeaten Broncos, and then Monday, the Giants, the disappointing New York Giants. That team hasn't been the same since the miracle of the Vikings in the Meadowlands, and they go out to San Francisco. 10 tackles for number 9. Second down now and 8 yards for Applewhite and the Horns. Williams picks his way straight ahead to the 11-yard line, and the clock continues to run away with Wynn making still another stop. So number 9 versus number 34, and for Ricky, 36 carries and 193 yards.
Good block by Derek Lewis, but you got to stay after Dat Wynn forever, well past the whistle, because he's not going to quit. This is Cornelius Anthony down, and he seems to have a cramp problem too. Very humid day here in Austin, and you see him working on that left calf, and that's a pretty good indication that he's got a cramp problem in that calf. You know, Brenton, looking back at that promo with Terrell Davis, another San Diego boy that's done pretty good as a running back. Ricky Williams, of course, from Patrick Henry High School in San Diego.
We'll take a break here with 2:45 left in the third. Timeout.
Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Out here where we need you. Out here where we need you. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
If you ask us, it just tastes better. Ramada and Holiday Inn may look similar, so at Ramada, we do our personal best to attack even the smallest problems. At Ramada, nothing bugs us like imperfection. For reservations, call 1-800-2-RAMADA.
It is grounded in the belief that for ideas to take flight, they must have wings. The new Chrysler Concorde LXI, with an advanced 225 horsepower engine that's incredibly powerful, yet fuel efficient. Concorde, ranked best premium midsize and initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. Chrysler Concorde, built on the belief that great cars appeal to a more passionate side. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
This holiday season, why not try some shark along with your turkey? Ben Norman returns in the Skins game Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on ABC.
Well, Ricky Williams has wrapped up the rushing title this year. He came in averaging 186 yards a game. He's already rushed for 193. Here now is 3rd down and 5. He's 1 touchdown away from wrapping up the scoring record. Applewhite fires. Incomplete. In and out of Cavill's hands with Cedric Curry, the defender.
There's a great throw by Major Applewhite on the slant pattern. You really got to throw this one in there hard. Protection has been excellent in the second half for Applewhite, and he hits his receiver right in the hands. Cedric Curry comes by to strip it.
Now a 28-yarder for Stockton. He's hit 22, 24, 49, and he has missed 50. Off to the right again. That's a huge miss. Down in that Aggie end zone. He now has missed his last 2 after hitting 3 in a row. So the Aggies still searching for some offense, but a touchdown and a field goal with Coach Mac Brown over there discussing the situation with his kicker, Chris Stockton.
You wonder just how long the Aggies can hang on here. Got to get something going on offense. They've been dreadful this afternoon.
They only have 58 total yards in this game against this Longhorn D. They'll spread the field. They look like Steve Spurrier's attack right now. And here's McCown in trouble. Woodard. And McCown made the most of it. He scrambled out of bounds on that far side, but he picked up 7 or 8 yards on that run that time.
Boy, it looked like Aaron Humphrey had him first, and then Cedric Woodard would get him in the backfield. Great speed by McCown as he ran away from 2 Longhorns. One of the best plays of the day for the Aggies.
Their scoring play was a 20-yard pass to the tight end Derek Spiller from McCown. Second down and 2. The fullback, the lone running back, bangs right straight ahead for the first down, and there is a look at the powerful freshman Jamar Toombs. I think you got an indication, Aggie fans, of what's ahead with that young man weighing in at 263 right now. That, folks, is what they say is a load.
Well, that's what they call the big rumble in Aggie land. Jamar Toombs running behind the strongest offensive lineman for A&M, Samisi Himuli.
Only 4 first downs for the Aggies. Sir Parker, the speedy one, replaces Toombs. Play fake, not buying it. McCown going down at the 24-yard line. Babineau with the 3rd sack for the Longhorns. The junior, Aaron Babineau, who replaced the injured Anthony Hicks, rolls in.
Well, from the right side of the screen, you'll see Babineau come in and pick up his first sack of the year. It's the old bootleg, but Babineau was in perfect position. McCown could not go around him. He forced him back inside. That's great angle of pursuit by Babineau.
Second down and 18. And the Aggies line it up in the I formation and then send Parker out as an extra wide out to the left side. Middle, got it, but well short of the first down. Remember, it was second down and 18 as Spiller makes the reception in the middle of the field as the Aggies trying to get more mileage out of their tight ends here. Make it third down and 9. It's closer to 9 than it is 10 in this situation. I know that officially it's 10 yards. We'll give them all the best of it. Can the Aggies find 9 yards using motion? McCown goes far side, high diving catch. It's a beauty. It's a beautiful catch by Chris Cole on the far side for 24 yards, and the Aggies are in business on a key third down.
Walker is number 17. He gives him a great shot off the line of scrimmage. This is a good throw by McCown, as a little bit of a hesitation there by Cole caused Walker to look back and could not make a play on the ball. What a huge conversion on third down for the Aggies.
Remember, they faced a second down and 18. They hit Spiller, then Cole. They wind up with the first down, and they're in attacking position as we come to the end of the third quarter. More drama ahead right after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
There is no limit to where it can take you. A leather-trimmed and preferred suede interior, heated front seats, and dual-zone temperature control. Winner of the Total Quality Award for Best Ownership Experience. The most luxurious minivan you can buy. Chrysler Town & Country. We call it limited. You'll call it unlimited. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Now get $1,000 cash allowance or 1.9% APR.
You might find them in a small-town schoolhouse or in a modern classroom in a great city. You cannot distinguish them by gender or by race or by age. Yet they are all bound together by one remarkable talent. They breathe life into learning. State Farm is proud to support America's most innovative teachers through our Good Neighbor Award. Thanks to these teachers, students are seeing learning in a whole new light.
Less crime is no accident. Mentoring, job training, counseling. These kinds of programs are keeping kids away from crime. Look around. Kids involved in these programs are staying out of trouble. It takes you and programs that work. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT for a free booklet and help take a bite out of crime.
Danny Sorensen, Lieutenant. Good to meet you, Danny. He's Bobby's replacement, and no one will let him forget it.
Diane, I'm sorry for your loss.
You don't know anything about my loss. You don't know anything about him.
Rick Schroeder joins the squad.
Partners are supposed to trust each other. That develops in time.
All new NYPD Blue, ABC Tuesday.
You can call it a truck. You can call it an SUV. Heck, you can call it Molly. But with a 205 horsepower engine and 80 cubic feet of cargo space, don't call the Isuzu Rodeo a car. It gets mad. Lease an Isuzu Rodeo for $298 a month for 36 months with 1093 due-at-lease signing. Isuzu. We don't make cars.
You're watching WFTV, Central Florida's news leader.
This is ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
So much excitement ahead of us. These Aggies next Saturday in St. Louis for the Big 12 Championship. Mac Brown's Texas Longhorns trying to stay unbeaten in Austin this year. We start the final 15 minutes of regulation. First down and 10. The Aggies attempting to mount a drive. Move to the 43-yard line. McCown gets good protection. Middle diving attempt for the reception. Incomplete. Incomplete. It will be second down and 10.
You can't fault the effort, though, by Derek Spiller. He's had a heck of a day. He's got the Aggies in the end zone with his 20-yard catch. He's made a couple of key ones recently. But McCown's getting better pass protection from his offensive line. You just feel this Aggie team is playing with a lot more confidence here.
Second down and 10. Big call here for the Aggies. Sir Parker. Spiller is 87. Play fake to Parker. In trouble and sacked at the 41-yard line by Dusty Renfro. The fourth sack of the game for the Longhorns. And that is huge for the Horns.
46 is Renfro, and it's a good combination stunt with Babineau kind of leading the way, almost like a lead blocker. Renfro got in behind him, kind of like Ricky Williams behind Ricky Brown. That's a huge sack.
An 11-yard loss. Makes it third and 21. Can Randy McCown come up with the answer to third and 21 at the start of the fourth quarter? In trouble, Woodard's got him. Down he goes. The Horns pick the pace up to start the fourth quarter as the defensive line continues to apply pressure. And Cedric Woodard with the fifth sack.
Cedric started the game with pressure on McCown, but I don't understand this call. On third and 21, you go with play action. Who you fooling? Certainly not Cedric Woodard.
And Leckler punts it again. Hodges Mitchell back deep. Wants to let it bounce. Waves the short man off. And it'll roll down at about the 24-yard line. So 13-16 to go as the Horns stand tall again. Timeout.
The truck is here. Introducing the new Silverado. It's bigger. It's more powerful. It's the truck from Chevrolet.
Let's see. College in 4 years. Costs up 40% over the next 5. Somebody do the math here.
It'd be great if our money would grow as fast as these kids. I can't believe
Will paying for college be as painful as this? It's getting ugly.
Hey, that kid just dropped a pretzel? Because I like pretzels. I really like
We'll be able to help with their education.
I wonder if we should have put that money in a trust. Maybe we would have...
I hope she was kidding about college in Hawaii.
Thank you, Payne Weber.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
The Emmy winner for Best Drama just keeps getting better.
We're suing you.
I say settle.
I want to fight.
So do I.
An all-new Practice, ABC Sunday.
Dan, this is a blown block here.
Well, this is Seth McKinney and Cedric Woodard in the circle here. And when the nose man is right on your nose, now it would behoove you to block him.
Hey, you can't move off the nose man like that and let him have an open shot at your quarterback when you've got no fullback. That win is now watching, and Chad Franson, the 12th man, is on the field. And here comes Ricky Williams pounding away at Franson. And it's on the ground. Mark it down right there. That's the 37th carry of the game. The high for Ricky Williams this year is 39 against Baylor. He has now carried 37 times for 198 yards.
And it was his fumble in the first half that led to A&M's only touchdown. This is real close to being another fumble. In fact, that was a fumble. Pulled out by number 99, Ronald Flemings.
And on second down, play fake, Applewhite, throw back, diving attempt by Cavill.
That pass intended for Cavill.
So here comes your third down for the Horns and Major Applewhite. Jennings, the cover man. Franson leaves. But we do not see that win. Simon, linebacker, replaces him. Expecting the pass. The Horns need to reach the 33. And there's the penalty flag. Penalty flag. And Applewhite is crushed at the 18. But there is a penalty flag on the play. And the Major shaken up.
Major did a great job with the hard count, pulling the Aggies into the neutral zone. Whether a Longhorn moved or not, we'll soon find out. The other thing we got to find out is how badly injured is Major Applewhite.
Offside on a defense. 5-yard penalty.
That's not quite enough for a first down.
But it helps.
Is he healthy enough to hand it to number 34? Can he turn around and give it to 34 here on this 3rd and 1? That will be the question as the Major is crunched.
Looked like he might have sprained his left ankle at the bottom of that pile there.
As we said earlier, Dat Nguyen did not start this series. Franson was in. Franson has been replaced. Cramps keeping Dat out. Applewhite converses with his center, signals to his wideouts, and here comes Ricky. Got it. First down, Horns. So the record-crushing day by Ricky Williams continues. He's now rushed 38 times for 204 yards.
11 times now in his career he's gone over 200 yards. And you know, a lot of those yards were the hard ones.
And remember, Ricky Williams was not the featured back here for a couple years. Remember a fellow by the name of Priest Holmes? Chad Franson back in as linebacker in the middle for the Aggies. Here's Ricky. Breaks free. Ricky searches daylight for 11 more yards. 39 carries.
And they're running right at A&M. And right where Dat Nguyen normally plays. Huge drop-off when Dat Nguyen is on the sidelines with cramp problems.
Averaging better than 5 yards a carry, 214 yards, and about to carry the ball 40 times with Dat Nguyen suffering from cramps, watching from the Aggie sideline. Nunez, the motion receiver. Here is Ricky. 40 carries, 40, 35, and a foot race, and Ricky Williams is pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line by Brandon Jennings, but 38 more yards on his 40th carry of the game. An unbelievable performance today. A 250-yard day for Ricky Williams.
Well, he hits you in the middle, and then he goes for the haymaker by going to the outside and using his speed. We talked about the combination of speed and power. What about endurance?
Hodges Mitchell gives him a breather for the Longhorns. First down and 10 at the Aggie 15. Here comes Hodges, short side, picks his way for a couple more yards before Webster gets him out of bounds.
When I talked to Greg Davis about this season for Ricky Williams and the Longhorn offense and how much they've improved, he said with the record chase and the Heisman chase has been a burden in a way, and it's a burden that they will miss next season.
Ricky Williams watching right now from the Texas sideline. Second down and 7. Here's Mitchell, picks his way, but number 46, Cornelius Anthony, a good-looking football player, slips in and makes the stop for the Aggies. And back he comes. 40 carries, 250 yards, 160-yard touchdown. And the records continue to tumble as he rushes on. Third down and 6. The backs are split and Ricky will go in motion, putting him out as a receiver on the short or right side for Applewhite. Back to the middle, touchdown, Cavill! A beautiful look off by the Major, who looked in Ricky's direction and then quickly came back on the slant to Cavill. And that could be the coup de Longhorn.
He gets inside the defensive back, Webster, and it's a perfect hard throw by Major Applewhite. No help in the middle as that look-off got the safety out of the middle of the field.
Stockton bangs in the extra point. 7 big ones for the Horns. 9:46 to go. Major Applewhite, the redshirt freshman, hits Cavill for the score. Timeout.
Well, let's take a look at the effect of Ricky Williams up the sideline. Here is Cavill over the middle on the slant route. A&M in a blitz. And a wide open receiver on the post route.
And Ricky Williams, he has equaled his career high with 40 carries here this afternoon. Stockton high, short. Parker at the 9 for the Aggies. Searches daylight and finds it. And brought down at the 36-yard line. So ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Silverado, the truck from Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks. Marriott hotels, resorts, and suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. Frost Brewed, Coors Light, who reminds you the 3 most important words are, hey, beer man, and Lay's Wow potato chips. Life tastes good again. I've had a lot of practice with that one billboard. You know how it is, 9.5 minutes.
First time you ever said that, huh?
First down and 10 for the Aggies. McCown goes deep, got one-on-one, got him. Down at the 8-yard line, Chris Cole. And the Aggies strike quickly. They beat the freshman corner, Irvis Hill, but give Irvis credit for saving the touchdown with the tackle at the 8-yard line.
55 yards for Chris Cole. Does a nice job of setting up the freshman. Hill tries to grab him there, but now he knows he's beaten. He's got to make a dive, trying to make a tackle.
Toombs, the running back. Perhaps a yard, but you cannot say enough about the defensive line of coordinator Carl Reese here today. Now, again, to go back on the Reese story, he came in with Mac Brown. He was at LSU a year ago. But, folks, listen to the list of places that Reese has been the defensive coordinator. LSU, Vanderbilt, Navy, Missouri, Virginia, East Carolina, Birmingham of the USFL. Man flat knows how to coach a defense. Make it now 2nd down and goal. McCown in trouble, backside, almost intercepted as the Horns bring pressure from the backside. And D.D. Lewis could not hang on.
It just appears that the Longhorns always have the right defense call. Bring the blitz from the blind side there, and Andre Lewis, he makes that catch, he might score.
3rd down and goal. McCown, no, not a well-thrown ball. 4th down. He threw it much too quickly, did not have the man on the slant, and simply gave it away, made it easy for Irvis Hill, who was all over the wide receiver.
He was all over the wide receiver is right. Number 15 on top of number 80, and if that is not holding or pass interference, I don't know what is. Irvis Hill, freshman, gets away with one.
And Russell Bynum trots onto the field. They'll settle for the quick field goal. Try to get back within 13 points. Shane Leckler, the punter, is the holder. This will be a 25-yard attempt. He's up close, difficult location, but he pulls it through. He hits it. It puts him. There's a penalty flag. Hold on. Penalty flag. I see it on the far side.
On the offense.
So let's back it up and let him go again. Actually, in looking as you were from behind the goalpost at that angle, this should even prove to be a little bit easier. When you're that close and you're on the right hash, that can be very, very difficult for Bynum. This should not prove to be quite as difficult. You will see from the angle from behind that goalpost as Bynum gets ready now for a 30-yarder. Having said that, he will probably whip on this one.
No, he's got a tattoo on his arm. He's a tough guy. He's not going to whip.
Barbed wire and all, my friends. Here it comes. Got it. So the 30-yard field goal for Bynum, and it puts them back at a respectable distance. They're within 13. Timeout.
Can people taste the difference between Lay's Wow potato chips and their favorite chips? Let's find out.
Wow.
Wow.
You know they're fat-free, only half the calories.
These are fat-free?
Talk to me, stock boy.
Wow.
Okay, sum it up, 10 words or less.
Wow. Wow.
Wow, these are good.
You know Wow is mom upside down. Bet you can't taste the difference.
Bet I can.
Take the Wow Challenge yourself. Just try to taste the difference.
What?
Wow.
Room 1203 wants to swim without floaties. Marriott, when you're comfortable, you can do anything.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
The Giants may not make it to the playoffs, but if they're going down, they'll try to take the 49ers with them. Monday on ABC.
Man can afford a ticket. Doesn't have to be standing on the sidelines. That's Roger Clements. I know you recognize that. And who's that man behind those shades there?
That's a movie star. That's why he's wearing the shades.
Is that Matthew McConaughey over there? He's got one of them $50,000 luxury boxes on the other side, they tell me. So here's the kickoff now for the Aggies, and a good one it is off the foot of Leckler. It'll come out on the 20-yard line. So after the touchback, Coming up next, of course, we'll send you up to Lincoln, Nebraska. It'll be the Cornhuskers hosting the Buffaloes of Colorado. Colorado going to go over to Hawaii. We may get them in the Aloha Bowl. We'll see how that rotation goes. I understand that Colorado is one of the 3 teams going over right now. There'll be a 4th.
And, you know, Brent, as soon as this game's over, I get the opportunity and the pleasure to interview Ricky Williams. And at halftime of the Colorado-Nebraska game, we'll show you that interview and hear from Ricky on his unbelievable day.
Might be a touch exhausted.
No, I'll make it.
Fumble by Ricky. Loose Aggies. They've got it. The second fumble by Ricky Williams. It is marked down at the 16-yard line. I was just going to say on his 41st carry, they might be thinking about a fresh set of hands in the backfield.
Well, Ronald Flemings, the defensive end, is going to get this ball. Pitch was a little bit high. There's the hit in the back. There's Flemings with the recovery. Ball came in just a little bit hot from the quarterback. Warwick Holdman with the big hit forced the fumble.
But can the Aggies score a touchdown? One in the first half was to the tight end Spiller. Trailing it by 13. Dante Hall spins. And the Texas defense stops him. Stone cold stop. That's the Longhorn defensive line, and linebackers like Dusty Renfro here today. They have just been magnificent against the run all game long. The Aggies averaging only 3.4 yards a play. They've rushed 20 times, and they have been held to minus 10 yards throughout the afternoon.
And this is an offense that has averaged 170 yards rushing per game. Great job by the Longhorn defense.
Timeout with 7:44 to go.
Meet Sean Graham, veteran stuntman. Walks away every time, then drives away. Chevy S10, like a rock.
Every man has a mountain to climb.
What part of Russia is he from, anyway?
Krebs, what are you doing shooting?
Krebs, you're here to rebound. Just stay out of the way.
Krebs! Yo, coach, you gotta get this Krebs guy. Krebs. K, R, F, F. I know how to spell. I'm from here. Man, you are terrible, terrible.
You want to get somewhere, then work it, then work it.
What mountain did you climb today? What beer was there at the top?
Buy your beer. Okay, I have Coors Light. That's C-O-O-R-S.
Coors Light. Frost brewed. Rocky Mountain cold.
The Bowl Championship Series is online with live action, interviews, game highlights, and live polls at ESPN.com and on America Online.
At the conclusion of the game, we'll select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. Chevrolet makes a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund. Second down and 10, Aggies. McCown got his tight end. Touchdown, Aggies! Derek Spiller, his second touchdown of the game. 17 yards. And each time the Aggies have scored a touchdown, it has been after a Ricky Williams fumble.
Now here's Spiller, the tight end. He's going to come down and across the middle. And this is a wonderful touch throw by Randy McCown. After the play fake, he sees that DeAndre Lewis is beat, and he has his back to the quarterback. That allows McCown to throw the ball anywhere he wanted.
Russell Bynum pounds through the extra point, and uneasy sits the lead now as R.C. Slocum said, "Dad, are you ready?" 23-17 as the result of this effort by tight end Derek Spiller, a senior, gets up above the linebacker, juggles the ball, and hangs on. Touchdown, Aggies. Great set of hands by the young man that time, tumbling into the end zone, and Spiller with 4 catches for 51 yards and both Aggie touchdowns. And it was all set up with Ricky Williams giving back 4 yards from his 250. He's officially now sitting on 246 with 41 carries, but 2 costly fumbles. And now Leckler will attempt to bury the horns again. High kickoff. Nunez will take a knee. It'll come out on the 20. We'll remind you that tomorrow on ABC, the Skins game. Greg Norman, nice to see him back. Fred Couples, Mark O'Meara, and the defending champion Tom Lehman. 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Skins tomorrow. Here in Austin, Texas, the heat is on the Longhorns. That win is back.
And Brent, RC's team, 11th best in the country as far as turnover ratio is concerned, with a +12. They've got 3 today to 0 for the Longhorns. That's why they're 10-1.
Ricky Williams, 42nd carry. Hangs on tight to the 24-yard line. Should put him back at that 250 mark with Holdman making the stop for the Aggies.
And you hate to beat up on kickers, but, you know, why not? If Chris Stockton hits those 2 field goals, we're not even have any suspense at all in this stadium. But right now, a precarious 6-point lead for the Longhorns.
2nd down and 6. Here's Williams for a yard or 2, and that's about it with his 43rd carry. Dat Wynn yanking the ball away, but the officials say that it was blown dead.
You talked about him being relentless, Brent. You know, that's the perfect description, because he's as relentless at this point of the game, 6 minutes to go in the ball game, as he is at the beginning. And this is a phenomenal number. 50 tackles. Wow.
So the 500 mark is reached, and it is 3rd down and 4. As the Major pulls it back, sacked. And the Aggies are in business. Royland Bradley, the 3rd sack of the game. One thing you can say, ladies and gentlemen, about the Aggies, and we saw it in the Big 12 championship when they were blown out in the first half. They did rally in the second half. Aggies don't quit.
And especially when they play the Longhorns.
Only the 2nd punt of the game for Ryan Long. Fielded at the 41-yard line. Breaks free and caught from behind at the 25. Jason Webster, their best cover corner, with a 34-yard return, puts the Aggies in business.
Well, it was a miserable punt by Ryan Long. Very low, very short. And he gets behind his picket line on the sidelines and makes some nice moves. We talk about momentum. Gig 'em.
Well, there's Jason Webster's first punt return, and you've got to give the coaches at Texas A&M a lot of credit for putting him back there. Dante Hall is behind Toombs. 4 down linemen are ready now for the Horns, and McGowan in trouble as Humphrey and friends surround him. The 6th sack of the game for the Longhorns. The difference, the defensive line clinging to a 6-point lead. RC and his coaches have to think about whether or not this is 4-down territory or they will go for another field goal. Time is starting to run down. They're down by 6 points. And the way he acts, the decision has already been made by the coaching staff. 2nd down and 11 after the loss coming up. Aaron Oliver out to the left. Taylor is the slot receiver. McCown throws to Oliver at the 20-yard line, short of the 1st down by about 6 yards, with Joe Walker, number 17, making the stop for the Horns.
And RC's also got to be thinking about the fact he only has 2 timeouts remaining. So as far as going for it on 4th down, you can bet he's got to.
Discussing it right now. 3rd down and 6. Hodge and Bumgardner are the wideouts. Bumgardner to the left. Shotgun from McCown. The Horns blitz Walker. Throws one-on-one. Bumgardner's out of bounds. They're going to give it to him. He makes the catch inside the 5-yard line. Kept a foot in bounds, or he was forced out by the DB. It's legal in the college game as Jammer was there 16 yards.
Here he is on the outside. Jammer comes over from his weak safety position. McCown sees Jammer has his back to the quarterback now.
What a great catch.
Great catch and a great call by the officials, making sure that he got that left heel inbounds. And there it is, the heel and the ball inside the 5.
Matt Bumgardner. 1st down and goal. Dante Hall picks his way for a yard or 2. So Matt Bumgardner makes his 1st catch a great one. Sean Rogers in the middle of the defensive line. Texas comes with the goal line now.
Texas came with a corner blitz. That's why Jammer was out on Bumgardner. Watch the blitz here. Watch the good block here. That gives McCown the time to throw the ball.
Toombs is set in front of Hall. McCown keeps it, and he is short of the end zone. This will be 3rd down and goal. The ball is spotted very close to the 1-yard line.
And Brent, I think when Randy McCown reviews the tapes of this game, you'll see that he was a little bit impatient on that play. If he pitches the ball back to Dante Hall, he walks into the end zone.
Sir Parker into the backfield. 3rd down and goal from the 1. McCown rolls, gonna throw for it, diving out of the bounds, incomplete. It's 4th down and goal coming up. The back judge was there, and he ruled that Campbell was out of the back of the end zone.
Dan Campbell dropped a touchdown pass the last game out for A&M. Let's check this one out in the back of the end zone.
Apparently he was juggling the ball as he came past that cameraman.
Man, that was close.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Battle of Texas comes down to a 4th and goal. The Aggies will call a timeout. Watch again from this view.
Never quite had it, did he?
No, otherwise he would have been inbound. We'll take a break. Timeout.
Afraid your next get-together will be a flop? Order Chili's Party Platters. Act now. Call a Chili's representative, and your guests will flip over party-sized servings of buffalo wings, fajitas, baby back ribs, and more. End pre-party stress now. Order Chili's Party Platters new from Chili's.
Relax. Kick back. Rest easy. Not the first thoughts that come to mind when investing on your own. But working with our financial advisors, you'll feel differently.
Every client's ambition should be our ambition. Their dreams, our dreams.
Isn't it reassuring to know that whatever your goals in a complex world, someone will be looking out for you?
We measure success, one investor at a time.
How's Max doing?
He's doing okay. So how long before Max can play again?
Well, the vet said Max will be back to his old self in a couple of days.
Even the interior of the Chevy Blazer was designed to make you feel at ease. A little security in an insecure world. Chevy Blazer, like a rock.
For bragging rights. Comes down to 4th and goal for the Aggies. Down by 6 points. Parker is the tailback. Toombs in front of him. Simpson is also there. Strength of the formation to the left. They run the option the other way. McCown doubles back toward the end zone. And McCown has got it. McCown for the touchdown. Ties it. And the Aggies will go for one in the lead.
Got to give Steve Craigthorpe a lot of credit for calling this play. On the 1-yard line, Randy McCown gets in for the second time this season, and he lowered his head and just blew into the end zone.
Now Russell Bynum for the lead. And the Aggies have come back to take a 24-23 lead. Scoring 16 unanswered points.
Well, let's check out the option. It's just a speed option all the way. No faking to the fullback. Look at the hole open up there as DeAndre Lewis overruns the quarterback. And McCown gets a great job by his offensive line. Spiller pushing Humphrey to the outside. Everybody thinking McCown was going to pitch it back to Hall so Hall could run for the corner. But the hole is just too big. Great vision, almost slips. Lowers his head and it's lights out.
And remember, it goes back to a decision by the A&M coaches to have Jason Webster return a punt. And down the field they came. Now Leckler with that powerful leg. Jeremy Jones and Ryan Nunez are deep, but Leckler has been pounding the ball into the end zone. This one is returnable. It'll be Nunez from the 4-yard line. Far side left, and Nunez is down at the 24-yard line, and time permitting, the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report will be coming up. And, of course, a reminder after this, it's Colorado, Nebraska. The Longhorns need a field goal. Keep that in perspective. They're down a point. A field goal would give them a lead. They have 2:12 to go in the game, and they have all 3 of their timeouts. But they also have a very tired Ricky Williams. He has carried the ball here today 43 times for 252 yards. Major Applewhite with 2 dangerous receivers off to the right. They send Ricky in motion to the short side. One-on-one against the corner there. Applewhite looks, comes sideline, complete. To the 28-yard line with Rich Cody defending the receiver that time. Keep an eye on the time, and again, all 3 of the timeouts remaining here.
And you know, on the sideline, Chris Stockton would just love to be able to redeem himself for missing 2 field goals in the 3rd quarter.
Offset Brown to the right. Slot to the right. Applewhite makes the call at the line. Rolls underneath Cavill, and Cavill is stood up at the 31-yard line by Jason Webster, who has been no small-time hero so far in this football game. So we have a timeout that has been used here by the Horns, and we can tell you who our Chevrolet Most Valuable players of this game are. Derek Spiller with 2 touchdown catches for the Aggies, and Ricky Williams, 43 carries for 252 yards and an all-time rushing record. A Chevrolet donation will be made to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. This, of course, has been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. As the young man who made the 2 touchdown catches, 20 yards in the first half, 17 yards here in the fourth quarter. And for the Horns, it is 3rd and 2.
And they've got to pick up this first down now, and they got to be thinking that they need about 35 yards or so to get Stockton in range. Stockton's career long is 53 yards. We saw him make one from 49, but that was with the wind at his back. He'll be kicking into the wind.
The backs are split on this 3rd and 2. This has not been Williams' preferred running formation so far today, unless they get a toss. They're going to throw from it. Middle, covered by Derek Lewis, got the first down. That is the first reception for the Longhorn tight end, the senior Derek Lewis, the big hero in that upset of Nebraska. And he stops the clock with the first down, but they want even more time. And so Applewhite is, I'm very confused as to why they would call a timeout with the clock stopping on a first down, unless it is just the sign of a redshirt freshman at quarterback.
I think that's a big part of it, Brent. Major does not have a lot of experience running the hurry-up offense. And the big thing here is that you can't afford any mistakes. You got to be absolutely perfect at this point of the game. And for a young quarterback, patience is important now. He's got to realize he's going to get more pass protection, more time to throw than he normally does. For some reason, defensive lines don't rush as hard. The Aggies will be in some type of umbrella defense, a prevent defense. So Major will have time to find McGarity, to find Cavill, or maybe even try his tight end over the middle.
Just wants one chance to redeem himself, having missed that 28-yarder. 122. One timeout is all that's left for the Horns. 4 wide receivers. Applewhite needs to get out of bounds, short of the first down, reached for it, gained 9 yards, and they've got to hurry. The clock runs. Coming down toward the 1-minute mark.
Going right into the shotgun formation.
2nd down and 2 for the Horns. Deflected, incomplete. It is 3rd down and 2.
Looked like Royland Bradley got his hand and knocked that one down. Major's only 6'1", and he doesn't really come over the top with a high delivery. It's kind of a 3/4 arm deal.
So important to keep in mind that in the college game, the clock stops on a first down.
That's huge, especially when you only have 1 timeout remaining.
So they need a couple of yards. 3rd down and 2, and they're going to go from the shotgun. And the catch is made for a first down at the 49-yard line by Brian White. So Derek Lewis and Brian White finally contribute as receivers, and it came at the right time with the clock stopping, 47 seconds. And the Horns in their hurry-up now.
And I like that call, Brent. Moving the pocket, giving him some extra time to find a receiver against a 3-man rush for the Aggies.
Clock started again, and a Major from the pocket fires complete and out of bounds. Goes the wide man, Wayne McGarity.
Now they're getting real close to Stockton's range. Another 15 yards or so would be really good for Chris Stockton.
Remember, they have the timeout left to get the field goal unit all squared away. 2nd down and 3. 36 seconds left on the clock. Spreading the field again. Leaving Ricky behind, right alongside the quarterback. And Major steps up, got Ricky in the middle, goes further, got by Cavill. free at the 25, inside the 20. The Horns are in business. The play quickly in from the sideline. Clock stopping on that first down. Again, very huge in the college game.
That three-man pass rush for A&M has just killed them on this drive.
Applewhite, shotgun, near side, got it out of bounds. White stops the clock inside the 15-yard line with 17 seconds left on the clock. And Major Applewhite, the redshirt freshman, calmly leading the Longhorns right down the field against the Aggies. The only thing you could question about the young man so far is using that one timeout. And here is Stockton. He's kicked 3 field goals and missed his last 2. Getting ready. 17 seconds left. Second down and 4. McGarity to the right. Here's Ricky. Ricky stretches left. Ricky still running left. Ricky goes out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. His 44th carry of the game stops the clock with 9 seconds left. And Chris Stockton trots onto the field as Ricky Williams trots off. 44 carries, 259 yards. And now it is in the hands of Chris Stockton. White looks like he'll put it down right about the 14-yard line. And the Aggies try to freeze him down, apply just a little bit of ice here.
Well, you know, the 2 misses for Stockton. He's missed wide to the right. They've got the hash mark on the left side now, so that ought to correct the fact that he's a miss to the right side. What a job by Major Applewhite on that drive, Brent. He hit 7 out of 8 for 55 yards to get number 13 well within his range.
Well, the offensive coordinator, Greg Davis, had schooled the young man all season long. And the Major is going to be a good one here in Austin for years to come.
He might make it all the way to General before he's done.
White. Jay Humphrey now to snap the ball. And White, the holder, with Stockton. He's 3 for 5 on the day. This will be a 24-yarder. This for a whole season of bragging one way or the other. And Stockton nails it. R.C. Slocum and the Aggies with a great rally here in the 4th quarter. But Ricky Williams and the Horns came down the field behind Major Applewhite. And Chris Stockton makes his 4th field goal of the game. Seconds left. Another classic between Texas and Texas A&M. Heartbreak for those youngsters.
He just punched it through. He knew he didn't have to really rip it. Redemption is a made field goal that wins the ball game.
And now Sir Parker says, let's shake and bake and lateral and whatever we got to do. And RC and the Aggies, 8 days from now, will play Kansas State for the Big 12 championship. So even though they have in all likelihood been knocked out of Tempe, a win next Saturday and they will go to New Orleans or Miami and play in the Nokia Sugar Bowl or the FedEx Orange Bowl. That's what can happen when you go to the conference championship. Kansas State has ideas of their own, and I'm sure the Coach Snyder and the Wildcats will be tough a week from Saturday in St. Louis. Along the ground to bring the clock down, put it in the hands of the short man, and with the knee down, the clock stops with 4 seconds to go. And college football's all-time rusher, Ricky Williams, watching as Caden McCown goes over the final play here with the prevent defense being set. And folks, when I say prevent, I mean it.
Well, this is the best time for prevent defense. I don't like it any other time, but there's only 4 seconds to go, and you need 70. Back them all up.
Randy McCown. No relation to Cade McNown, I might add.
Almost there.
And Randy back in the shotgun, and here we go. Close to being incomplete, and the Horns win it. The Horns hook their arch rival. Mac Brown turns the fortunes of the Horns around in his first year. They go unbeaten in Austin. And a stirring last-minute comeback. But the man of the day, the season, and the last couple of years is Ricky Williams. 44 carries today for 259 yards. And just to make sure he made it so dramatic, his 2 fumbles helped the Aggies get back in it. The largest crowd in history. It was Chris Stockton who had hit field goals earlier. Ricky Williams on the record breaker. 60 yards in the first half for the touchdown. And the record is Ricky's. With Chris Stockton kicking the winning field goal. And a stirring Texas victory. 26-24. The Horns over the Aggies. So long, everybody. Let's send you down to New York.